And we're live. Hi.
Hey everyone.
Hi.
Hey. Hi.
Is it getting dicey?
That's you gotta wait at least a couple of minutes.
Oh, wow. I thought that was you. I thought it was just going to be like a surprise one. Just kind of in there, snuck it in.
Yeah. No, you gotta. I mean, like whoever says it next, it's gonna be the trigger, I reckon.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to have fun with it.
So before we get into everything, do you want to talk about these sweet new features you've put in the stream?
I'll mention it now, but I'll probably mention it a little bit later when we have a few more people watching. But we now have something where there's a nice cool little overlay that D&D Beyond released, which is really cool. If you hover your mouse over the video, our little characters are up there on the side, all the way up and down. And you can click on them, check the character sheets, and it should update with our HP in real time as long as the players and me update our HP if we get into any sort of fights. So that's a cool little addition that D&D Beyond has sort of released us, a nice little Twitch overlay, which is super cool. Super cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's like, really feels like they're getting behind people streaming D&D, which is obviously good for them to grow the number of players and number of people who are just interested in D&D overall. So cool, man.
Yeah, it's super cool. So it'll be interesting to see, because I think I watched a video that kind of sort of outlined what they want to do with it in the future, and I think you can have your DM having created a campaign in D&D Beyond. You add all the characters that you want to add, and the DM can actually start like controlling whose turn is next, and that will update on the overlay as well in time. So that's really cool.
Oh man, I wonder if the initiative tracker will work properly.
That would be that would be nice. But hopefully Roll20 and D&D Beyond can kind of get it on and make some kind of D&D love baby that works really well with Twitch.
Yeah, there's actually a bit of, I don't know if you guys follow any of the D&D or any of the Roll20 stuff, but there was actually a bit of drama around Roll20 recently with there was I haven't read enough to dig into it, but there was basically some guy apparently was banned from the subreddit for Roll20 because he had a negative, like, despite being a paying customer for years, he like posted something negative. That was his side of the story.
Oh, I thought you were going to say negative charisma.
Yeah, that's why he got banned.
Yeah.
That is one of the downsides of having negative charisma. You're more likely to get banned. This guy probably did have negative charisma, but basically the central tension was that the people who make Roll20 were the mods on the subreddit for Roll20. So it was a little bit like the company that controls the product also controls the subreddit.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit dicey.
Oh, no, you didn't say getting dicey.
A little bit dicey.
Yeah. It was a little bit dicey. And then so they did the right thing. They handed over moderation of the subreddit to like independent third-party people who run another big D&D subreddit. So that was pretty cool of them. And they unbanned the user as well.
Oh,
and it wasn't clear. Like it seemed like he was just trying to stir some stuff up as well. But it was good of them that they were like, yeah, we recognize this is a problem. We'll correct it. So.
Yeah. And they haven't done anything wrong by us. We're loving the tools that we've got. We wouldn't be able to stream what we're streaming if we didn't have Roll20. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It would be much worse. It would be like my hand drawings.
Yeah.
I'd just be holding it up and no, you're here. You're here.
On this map, right here. See?
Yeah, move my guy one square north, please.
we are
you can only move half a hex because the dimensions are out on this one.
But you made it. You made it.
Yeah, theatre of the mind.
The other north.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. We've actually got someone already commenting that so we've got someone that says the overlay works pretty well, so that's cool. Good to know. And then XCat, welcome back, XCat. Thanks for coming, as you always do. And it's sort of outlaid what happened in there a bit more. It looks like there's a bit of a conversation now about it, so that's good. At least they've kind of hopefully sorted their stuff out.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chat because the ex-cat's correcting me with like actual information instead of my
I prefer you homebrewing the facts.
That's what we're all about, despite the fact that I bought the Storm King Starter Pack campaign. Okay, so let's crack into it. So last time, our adventurers journeyed to Luskin, where they were staying at the Blood and Bone Inn. I feel like a lot happened, but not that much happened.
Very
so the
little
first
happened.
thing,
That was my fault.
It was the
The
failed
first thing-
zoo.
Yeah, the first kind of half of the session was Oust in the zoo, where he attempted to free an owlbear amongst other creatures. The first of which was Colin the kobold. So after kind of sneaking his way through the zoo, making a bit of noise here and there, he decided to like full noise, pardon the pun. Well, actually don't because it was intended. Like blast open this door, which he did, and released Colin. That of course alerted the guards, and so as they went to the nocturnal part of the zoo, the nocturnal enclosure, guards showed up. Colin tried to bolt it, finally being freed, and once Oust was unsuccessful in kind of calming and grabbing Colin, he too left via a leaping direwolf. Is there anything in that bit that I missed?
Besides the hugely embarrassing campaign process, that, there were so many things that I did wrong there and realized halfway through, like not taking a lockpick, not even thinking about how I was going to get, or not even having the spell that I thought I had to talk with these beasts. So much went wrong. It was poorly planned. It was a typical Oust kind of.
I'd thought of something really good that you could have done as well, but I didn't.
So
I just did.
stuff I could have done.
So like you had, because you ended up like bursting open the door to the kobold's cage with like a lightning arrow. Yeah. I was thinking what could have been awesome is you could have shot one into the sky, waited a couple of seconds, and then laid one into the door. So it would have looked like lightning and thunder.
Trust
you could
me,
have.
I thought about that after the session. I was like, oh yeah, so many things I could have done that would have been so much better.
Yeah. That's all right.
No.
I'm just going to mark down the campaign questionnaire / like recap thing. What I actually had planned in the nocturnal enclosure. Nocturnal enclosure.
Yeah.
Well, I remember. Closure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this recap session and seeing how many times there's like, Alice, what should you have done? Or how many times did I sidetrack things?
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun. Bit of a free for all. Yeah, and so after that we went to break. When we came back, we joined the rest of the party again. So the rest of the party, Finn kind of spent a lot of the time telling and retelling the story of how many of the 10, 20, 30, 40, 55 frost giants that the party managed to hold off from destroying Luskin for the most part, and retelling the story of Bardurk, who was their companion who passed, was flung callously out to sea, drowned, and then was dragged back by Madrid. Attempts to resuscitate him were unsuccessful. After Oust arrived back defeated with a non-dire version of Wolf, in an attempt to conceal who had actually been in the zoo compound, the party then decided to set out into the night with, I'm trying to remember his name now. Does anybody remember?
Roger.
Mm-hmm. Who was, what was he? Was he first mate on one of the ships?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
He was the dodgiest guy in the room.
Yeah, he was the dodgiest guy.
Yeah, he was the dodgiest guy in the Blood and Bone, which is like pretty well-to-do sort of in. He led. The request from the party was to lead them to one of to the seedy underbelly of Luskin, and that he did. He led them south and past the docks into kind of the area surround or outside of the safety of the walls of Luskin, right on the right down by the docks, and into an establishment which had no name on the door, simply a pair of legs in fishnet stockings, as a sort of logo or symbol for what was in there. The party paid for Bernard to spend some time, ordered him a special. Bernard went behind the veiled curtain, so to speak, and had a conversation where he was basically trying to work out who had been there before, requesting squid business.
Very awkward.
Yeah, incredibly so.
As squid business usually is.
Yeah.
And I think once you got all that information, that was where we ended the session. Is that?
Yeah. I think
Finn left some
little note on the notice board thing.
Yeah.
And
Do make it sound like leaving a note at the supermarket.
Yeah, that's right.
Notice board, looking for a job or something.
Yeah.
Similar
Put a
to
note
that.
up on a jobs wanted kind of board. We went to the no-name league place, embarrassed the hell out of Bernard, and they just say that's kind of where we left
Bernard
it.
did get some information though, didn't he? He got there had been someone else that had come.
Face,
Yeah.
the face of a couple of people and the markings of one of them, right?
Just one person. Oh no, one of them was the dead guy we already met on the boat, and the other one was
tattooed dude with eyes.
a gaunt, pale, borderline human with robes, red and gold robes, facial tattoos that look like ink coming out his nose and his eyes.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's
And we think
coincidentally
that's
that's the new tattaoo I'm getting this week. So that's really good. That's exciting.
Can't wait.
Are you getting the shade?
Yeah.
That'd be an awkward tattoo right at the start.
Yeah, right here. Goes down
like little head moustaches.
just off to each nipple.
Yeah.
That would really
Streaming up to the nipples. Classy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Excited.
So, unless you all want to do anything before going back and resting, I think we can probably just skip forward to you all getting a good night's rest. Back at the Blood and Bone, which was, of course, free of charge, based upon the deeds that you've performed for the safety of Luskin. And you'll awaken the next morning.
So how long are we resting for, John?
Well, if you want a long rest, it's 8 hours.
Yeah, I'm just thinking 4 hours and then 4 hours on my study of that book.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good benefit to being an elf.
Yeah.
Is no one going to say it? Fine, things are getting dicey.
You have to say it. We'll wait for you to say it.
Okay. Yeah, and sorry, I didn't mention it specifically, but the thieves' camp that you left a message in the kind of shadier part of town on what appeared to be sort of a thieves' camp notice board, or the equivalent of. Okay. So you will awaken the next morning, fully rested, hit points restored, spell slots restored, etc., etc. What do you do?
Whereabouts in town are we now? Sorry, John. Just whereabouts is this
You
flight of star?
are here, I believe.
Okay.
Cool.
Correct. So you're just off the main town square.
Okay, cool. Finn's just gonna.
The further north you go, the richer it gets, and the further south you go, the more like dilapidated the buildings become.
Right.
What time did the appointment with the pirate captain dudes?
Yeah. Wasn't that first thing in the morning?
Yeah, well, we're going to meet up with what's his name? The young
Roger.
kid. No,
Paddy.
what was that, Reese?
Was it Paddy?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one. That's the one.
It is pretty.
Finn's just going to get himself ready and sort of head outside to see if there was any success from his message outside the thing, because he did leave a message saying meet him outside this specific hotel or inn first thing in the morning. So Finn's just going to get himself prepared and head down.
Okay. So I think when you head downstairs, you walk downstairs and collect your groceries, possibly, Dave.
Whoa.
Oh.
Okay.
I think that was Reese's neighbor with the motorbike again.
Okay. So you head downstairs, and I think you see Paddy kind of sat at a table facing the stairs, like just hoeing into some breakfast, just trying to get as much in as he can. And he sees you go, like pushing his helmet back up again.
Okay, cool.
What's for breakfast?
Yeah. So Finn's just like, one moment he's just going to kind of like peer out the window just to see if he can see any sign of, someone that might not look like they should belong in this area.
Go ahead and roll investigation.
Okay. Can do. This is where I would say I really want to have like a first roll of the night kind of animation pop up, but that's coming one day.
Yeah.
Just shoot that out the window. Yeah. Okay, all right.
I love how we made the Wonder animation, and now it's never been used.
Yeah.
Actually, you need to give that to Bernard, by the way, Finn.
Yeah, well,
because
I can't use it.
What do I need? Oh,
the Wonder Wonder.
The Wonder
is
Wonder.
given to you.
So yeah, so that's a
so-
12.
Let's resolve this dice roll. So you can't see anyone or anything. In fact, when you look out into out the window, and the sunlight hits your eyes, for a moment,
Blinded.
you think you might have lost your vision.
That's good.
Because you can't see anything. No details come to you.
Wow.
Oh.
And you stumble backwards into the stairs, and you kind of blink your eyes a few times, and they adjust back into the kind of the room that you're in, and you feel relieved that you can still see.
Okay, good. All right, that was close. So he's gonna make his way over to. Imagine that being blinded first roll of the night. That's it for the rest of the campaign.
Brilliant.
So he's,
stood up too fast.
yeah. So he's gonna walk over to Paddy and be like, "Yeah, sure. Let's have something to eat. Did you organize everything with the captains? Is that sorted?"
With absolutely no manners at all. He's still shoveling food into his mouth. He's like, yeah.
Okay, good. Cool. And Finn's just gonna sort of wave over the waitress and
Yeah, and he's actually
okay
as well.
Okay.
And an enormous plate of food is brought over to you.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Finn's just gonna eat and wait for the rest of the crew, kind of thing.
Okay.
Question, John. Are we sort of situated in? I assume we're upstairs in separate rooms, yeah?
Yeah, you were each given a deluxe suite.
Cool, awesome. So Elsa's just going to wait at the top of the stairs for Igneous to come out. So she's just waiting for it to hit up Igneous before we head downstairs.
Okay.
So it's just kind of patiently waiting there with Wolf and still in normal Wolf form because we're still worried about officials recognising this big dog thing.
Okay.
But yeah, just waiting for Igneous to make an appearance.
Cool. Bernard, what are you going?
I think I'll go and go downstairs for a food.
Okay. So you pass Alce in the hallway.
Yep, I'm going to wait.
At the top of
You do
the
it.
stairs. Igneous, what are you up to?
Igneous is just going to do a bit of a stretch and smell himself. He smells pretty bad. Smelled like last night. And he's like, oh. But he did the fry up downstairs and he was like, oh yeah. Now we get some of that. so he's gonna make his way downstairs.
Actually, before you do, as you kind of roll out of bed, can you give me a Constitution save?
Oh,
no. Oh yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, I think you kind of like roll out of bed, and then for a moment you get that head rush and you go, whoa, what's going on here? But then you kind of crack, roll your shoulders, go, ready to face the day.
let's do it.
So you come to the top of the stairs and you see Alston and Wolf kind of standing there.
Alce just throws his version of the igneous wave. Igneous,
Dude,
got something I need to ask you.
I'm asked. Wolf is really sick, man. You need to feed him so much right now. No, breakfast downstairs. Just give him some of that.
It's alright, Igneous. This is his normal form. It's okay. He's perfectly healthy. But
so
you're not. Come for the walk. 'Cause I'm just gonna arm over his shoulder. You're all chummy. Just gonna walk him away from Wolf to avoid the distraction, and basically say to Igneous, you're all about freedom, right?
Isn't everybody?
Absolutely, totally. I've got a deal for you. I need your help. So my trip to the zoo to free the owlbear and his friends kind of didn't go so well, which is why they're not here with us now. I need some help. I don't want to distract us from our current campaign, but I definitely need to go back to that zoo to free the owlbear and the kobold, and I need your help to do this. I'm hoping I can get you to help get Finn involved as well, because I think we're going to need his skills too.
I'm all about helping you, Alst, but I'm a little bit confused. Last night you were like, let's go steal an owlbear.
No, it's free owlbear.
Yeah.
Not steal, free.
How's
He's a caged animal. It's not fair.
it changed, man?
Well, I spoke to the kobold that was in the zoo, and he was not happy about being there. And my first attempt to free him failed miserably. I got him out of the cage, but we got seen, which is why I wasn't able to free him. And I think he's been caught and put back in his cage again. So I'm determined to free him.
You spoke to a creature that was in a cage.
Yeah, that's right. The kobold is not a stupid animal. He's a smart, semi-intelligent beast. But don't call him a beast. He doesn't like that.
Right, color me interested, Alst.
Cool. I just need to know that when we head back to the zoo, I can count on your help, and I can count on you to get Finn to come along with.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Just to be upfront with you though, I'm not going to be slaughtering anyone that doesn't need slaughtering.
No, this is not about slaughtering. It's about sneaking in and freeing these animals, because they should be living wild and free, not in cages for people's entertainment.
I can't say I know what a zoo is, so I'm happy to suss it out with you. Let's have a look. I'm just going to bowl downstairs for breakfast.
All right, let's eat. Cool. Alice is going to tuck that away, and we'll use that piece of information at some point when we decide to go back to the zoo. So don't throw that part of the campaign away, John.
I already deleted the zoo, so you can't go back.
No, that's not fair. Told you I was going back.
Nah. It's going to be all theatre of the mind. No maps.
So I mentally memorised where everything is.
Okay, that's good.
It's going north.
Maybe you can draw it out for us. Okay, so you head downstairs, and there's just like Paddy still continuing to shovel food. He's making the most basically of being associated with you guys at this point, and he just continues waving over the dude. And I think having seen Bernard come downstairs, he waves over like under the plate, and when the guy sees the size of Bernard, he kind of puts down the big plate and grabs a smaller one, and then Paddy's like shaking his head like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
I just have a salad.
So you have this like enormous plate of food arrive in front of you, and you say, "I'll just have a salad."
Yes, please.
Okay. He goes to take it away, and then Paddy's like puts his hand on his arm. He's like, just there. And he leaves it.
I'll give him a little
Okay.
wink and I'll push it over towards Paddy. Looks hungry.
Yeah. And he brings you back a salad.
Thank you.
Garden.
Nice.
I'll jump into a cherry tomato.
Yeah, the cherry tomato is like a little bit acidic, quite sweet. Very nice. The rest of the salad is like relatively bland.
Oh. I got the piece of bit, I suppose.
Cool.
Okay.
Finn's kind of taking a cue from Paddy. He hasn't had a big feed like this for a long time, and he's kind of like he's got all the food all over his hands, dripping into his sleeves and stuff. He's just going. He's really plowing into it as well.
Alistair's just going to pull all Alvin judginess on you lot right now. He's just so not getting involved in this stuff. He's like, what on earth? You people are grubs.
This svelte elf stands towering above your table and just like looks at you with disdain.
Yeah, Finn looks up at Alistair's just like, don't give us that look. How's that owlbear going, huh?
Apparently it's freedom for Finn.
What was that? Sorry.
It's a prison, man. Alice told me all about it.
Well, okay. What exactly did Alice tell you, Igneous?
Well, they're locked up and they can talk, so they're not all animals.
Okay.
I've got permission for Dragon Slayers. That's it. What do you guys think?
Owlbears can't talk.
Yeah.
No, the kobold can. I didn't meet the owlbear. I freed the kobold, who wasn't happy about being trapped and caught up, and then the guards came. You might have heard the loud noise last night when I freed the kobold from his cage.
Was that him being murdered?
Finn,
No, he's still alive. I think he got caught again when the guards came, and I had to make a bit of a dash for it.
Did you see what happened to him?
No, because I turned tail and ran. As he dashed, he took off and didn't want to come with. He got a bit frightened, and I didn't have time to convince him that I was here to help him out.
Are you hearing this bravery, Igneous? The absolute bravery of Alice.
I didn't want to kill anybody. I just wanted to free the kobold and the owlbear. And in true Igneous style, I did not want to kill anyone, so I took the safe option and left and came back to get your help, which we'll have to do after we talk to the captains.
More talkative today.
Yeah. Igneous is gonna look at Al suspiciously. You didn't mention battling the guards last night, Al.
I told you there was guards that came, Igneous, and I left, so I didn't have to battle them.
Alright.
John, does my character know about kobolds at all?
Roll.
Kobold.
I guess nature.
roll for
Roll
kobold.
plus kobold.
Yeah.
20 kobolds.
12.
Woohoo!
I think with a 12, this is the you don't have any reliable information on kobolds.
Right. So Finn just doesn't believe a word of there being like a talking animal in a zoo.
I think you've heard of a thing called a kobold, but you've never seen one or talked to one or had any specific information.
So knowing that Finn doesn't even know what one really looks like, he's just heard that there's a kobold, and he's just going to go, what, like a talking bear or something?
No, okay, so I'm gonna have to, I will describe to you what a kobold. I can't remember what one looks like, but Alistair's going to describe to Finn what he saw last night and the conversation that he had with Colin. His name's Colin, by the way, Finn.
Finn just bursts into laughter. Colin talks to you.
As far as I know. And
Colin the kobold.
And he was captive. He was not happy about it. He was kept in this really squalid cage. He didn't have anything, so I threw him my Yeti pelt to keep him warm because basically he looked like the poor thing was shivering and struggling. And my heart just went out for him. I had to free him. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lockpick to pick the lock, so I had to blow the door open, which just attracted the guards. At which point, Colin took off and got caught, and I had to take off to basically avoid killing the guards. And
just admit that you took one look at the owlbear and you changed your mind.
I didn't get to see the owlbear. I didn't even get a chance to see the owlbear. My first instance was freeing the kobold, freeing Colin, and that's when the guards came. I didn't even get to my key point of freeing the other. I'm so gutted. So I now need to go back and rescue Colin because I promised him freedom, and I know he's been caught again because I saw him get caught.
You promised him freedom in this conversation that you had with an animal.
It was a very brief conversation, but I promised him freedom. I gave him food, I gave him clothing, and he believed me enough that he would come with me.
And you betrayed that trust.
Well,
And you just
the
left him
noise
there.
I made, he just took off, and I couldn't stop him.
Why didn't you like grab him when you escaped?
I tried, but he struggled free from me, and by that stage the guards were there, and I didn't want to attack the guards because that would attract more attention, and we're here on a mission. I didn't want to have blood on my hands for innocent guards just doing their job.
Well,
He signed up to the oust train. He's like, oh yeah, he's got a name. He gave him some food and some blankets. Couldn't punch the guards.
Yeah, Ousters winning friends.
Let's do it.
okay.
So I've discussed with Igneous that once we've finished our purpose here, and we've talked to the pirates and the captains and stuff, and got the information we need, that before we leave, we're going to free Colin and the Albion.
And the Albion.
And we need your help, Sam,
Okay.
because you obviously have the skills to unlock locks without being noticed.
What about the Thunder Lizard?
If I can find the Thunder Lizard in time, then we'll free him too. Those are the
What's
three
his
guys
name?
that I'd free.
What's
I
the
don't know.
Thunder
I
Lizard's
didn't
name?
meet the Thunder Lizard.
Gordon.
I only met the kobold, and his name was Colin.
Right.
It's now
Listen, I'm
canon
glad
that the Thunder Lizard's name is Gordon.
I'll gladly introduce you to the kobold when we meet him, but we need to meet him tonight.
I'm not that keen on talking to a.
I've got better things to do.
Oh, Ignis, are you hearing this? He's got better things to do than free.
Honestly, these are the sort of creatures you would murder in the wild. I'm sure.
No.
If you came across them in
Not at all.
a forest.
No.
It
I
sounds like a
befriend-
little gentleman to me.
Igneous, do you think they would keep a little gentleman in a zoo?
It doesn't sound right, does it?
It doesn't sound right.
You need to meet him. Shall we go to the zoo today, and I'll introduce you to Colin?
Colin the
And then-
gentleman. Look,
Yeah.
we've got things to do today.
Why don't we buy a ticket?
We can go to the zoo after we've talked to these people.
Look,
and
before
I'll
we
introduce
leave,
you to Colin.
Before we leave Luskin, I will entertain the idea of going for a day outing to the zoo.
If you
To
buy
meet-
me an ice cream.
Okay, I'll buy you an ice cream if that will make you happy.
To meet Colin and Gordon.
I don't know who's called Gordon. That was Bernard's idea, not mine.
Okay.
Colin the kobold needs to be freed.
No,
But if I
just
have to introduce you
plausible.
first, I will.
What the hell is an ice cream? That sounds great.
Ignis, you'll get one too.
Is this zoo thing more important than that king guy we're looking for?
No.
No,
Okay,
this is a secondary quest, Ignis.
alrighty.
Even though freedom of captives is very important.
Seems like a confusing mission, but I'm down to find this king guy first.
Okay. All right. Are you guys going to eat before we head out to meet the captains?
I've
or-
seen enough food to put me off eating for about 3 days.
And Finn kind of like holds up like what sort of food is in front of her? We just got like a plate of like beans and bacon and stuff, or like what's the
Yeah, bacon, like just a mound of eggs, of scrambled eggs.
right. So yeah,
Um,
Finn just kind of pushes the plate a little bit towards Oust, and he's like, "You've got to eat something before we head off."
I've seen enough. I'm just not gonna eat that.
Yeah, nice. Have you had anything like this before, Igneous?
Eggs I've had before, but never cooked. They're way better. Thanks, man.
Okay, good. And Finn just kind of like stands up from the table, takes one last big like scoop of food with his hand, chucks it back, and says to Patty like, "All right, we need to go meet these captains."
When did you become so uncouth?
He hasn't had like okay. I haven't eaten
I
like this
love the
in a
idea
long
of
time.
Oust saying that to Finn like, in the moment.
Yeah.
So how does Finn respond?
It's just like, Al, we haven't eaten like this in months.
I haven't seen you eat like that ever.
Exactly. Yeah, because we haven't eaten like this. This is that you're missing out. You are missing
I'm
out.
making a habit of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Finn
quite-
just
quite
kind of
unlucky.
like looks back down at the plate. And he just takes some more and just like grabs another mouthful. All right.
I'm-
I'm gonna quiet
Burn it.
put my knife and fork down.
Yeah, I think Alice is just
Thank you.
completely lost for words with Finn's eating habits right now. He's just borderline disgusted, kind of shocked, just not really sure what to do with his friend right now.
Yeah.
Ignis is going to see if he can sneak some of that real good egg into his bag of holding. Like, that is a good egg.
Yeah, you do that. A roll sleight of hand to see. Are you trying to hide it from everyone or just from the barkeep?
Not trying to hide it, just he's being like really cautious and gentle of it. He doesn't want to waste any little drips and drabs of this egg mixture.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna have dirt, wine, and egg in your.
I've got salted meat as well,
Oh,
man.
you got
Yeah.
salted meat in there too. Awesome.
How much eggs can I scab off the plate, John?
Well, there's like a mound on each plate, most of which did not get eaten. So I think if you harvest all of the plates,
Yep.
I'd say probably about 3 pounds of eggs.
Oh, that's going.
God.
3 pounds.
Yeah,
That's
there was a
lot
lot of eggs.
That's a truckload of eggs.
This is happy.
Like a
There was
Flintstone.
enough. There was enough made for like 6 people, but like 6 very hungry people.
Mm. Yeah. And Finn kind of he likes what Ignis is doing. He's like, thank you. Saving some for later. I appreciate that.
Alright, let's go.
Yeah, let's head out.
Paddy, get us out of here before Finn gets eating again.
1 pound of eggs per person.
Fantastic.
Half a pound of eggs per person.
I mean, pounders.
So as you all walk out of the tavern, and Finn, you kind of recoil at the light just for a moment as you're like, not again. But then you realize, oh yeah, it's fine. It's just how it works.
That's just how the sun is.
You see the unmistakable symbol kind of drawn into the dirt in front of the town. It just says, "I'll be at the meeting."
Oh, all right. And he's just gonna let the guys in on it. He's like, see this? My note last night worked. Whoever wrote this is gonna be at the meeting.
That's
So-
writing?
Yeah,
That
dude.
looks like ticket school to me.
That's meant to. That's the whole point. If anyone could read it, there'd be no point to it. So that's good. That's really good.
Read it.
Ignis is just going to look really forlorn and be like, dirt doesn't talk to me like that anymore.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
And Finn's just going to take a couple of minutes to kind of point out some of the shapes that have been scrawled out and what they mean. So he's just going to give Igneous just a little bit of knowledge about Thieves' Cant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little bit of knowledge is a
Get
dangerous-
kicked out of the magician's circle. You give away the secrets.
The knowledge which Ignis gains is shapes. The basic concept of shapes. And it's
Okay.
like, damn.
Cool. So, Paddy, just lead us to where we need to go.
He says, "Yep, come with me."
Still-
Like finishing the last of his breakfast, and you walk into the town square, and in sharp contrast to last night, there's like market stalls and people kind of coming and going and buying things, like rolled up rugs and stores selling meat and weapons and armor and just all manner of objects. And you walk out into the kind of main section there. I should have. Give me 1 second. That's not really going to work. I'm just going to leave it up this way. And you come face to face. So we're now in the main section of the map here. You come face to face with 4 very differently dressed people, and there's like just rows and rows of sailors kind of milling around these people. Not particularly well trained, so rows is the wrong word to use, but they're kind of just backed up. They're rolling with a large crew, basically.
Did anyone else's
What
map?
happened to the map, John?
Yeah.
What happened to the
cracked
map?
out for me as well.
Sorry.
Refresh and it fixes it.
What's
What?
that?
Yeah, I'm
Refresh
refreshing.
and it fixes it.
No.
As the Poe walked through the marketplace, he's going to guys, I need to go there once we're finished here.
Where?
The blacksmith place. I need to sharpen my sword.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. I'm just gonna give us a second to refresh the page. Sorry,
Yeah, cool.
I deleted a few maps, so hopefully I should start performing a little bit better.
Okay, cool.
The hell? Is that Jar Jar Binks up the top left?
We might have to zoom quite far in. It's
Oh,
quite
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Quite a big map.
Are we meant to see their names? Because we can see their names.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. They're about to introduce themselves anyway.
Okay, cool.
So standing in front of you, I'll just go from left to right. You see a half elf with a pseudo dragon, green and yellow, kind of sitting on his shoulder. You see a man to his left, because he's facing you. Although man might be a bit of a strong word as he steps forward. And he's more beard than man. Like, you can barely see any exposed skin, even his arms, and kind of creeping up his palms. You notice just he must be covered head to toe in this kind of white hair. You see kind of up the back a human male with a jaw like almost as sharp as the way that he's dressed. Meeting him in the street, you'd sooner assume that he was some sort of well-to-do noble who would have his choice of any kind of noble woman he was after, rather than a pirate king. And to his left, you see a human female, and her warm smile is at odds with kind of the breadth the pirates around her kind of give her, and the respect they seem to be paying to her. And I think this guy steps forward first, the bearded one, and he says, "Hello, I'm Miros. How are you?
Yeah,
Welcome to Luskin
Good.
once more."
Finn's just going to take a moment just to say, like, I'm Finn. This is just the crew that we've got. What has little Paddy told you?
He said you wanted a meeting with us,
Okay.
and I think we might know why. We know who you are. You and Aus were here last time, and Sasha.
Oh yeah.
We've heard of you. We've not met you, but we've heard of you before. And of course, if there's anything that we can do to help, we will do that. The guy furthest to the west on this map kind of pipes up and says, "Yeah, I'm Zeldar, and this here's Arrow," pointing to the pseudo dragon on his shoulder.
Was it Zeldor?
Zeldar.
Yeah, Elsa's really jealous of the fact that he has a
Don't.
dragon on his shoulder.
Don't do this.
he's not gonna say anything. He's just quietly fuming that a half elf has a pseudo dragon.
You had one. You had one and let it burn.
Alistair's jealous. That's all I'm saying. He's not happy. But that half elf has one.
The very sharply dressed, noble-looking man steps forward and says, "Hello, I am Nath." That's Nath, Narth.
Cool.
And the woman kind of, her smile widens even more and makes you feel even more welcome. And she says, "I'm Regala."
Okay.
I'm Bernard. Hello.
How else are you going to introduce yourself?
They know who I am. I don't need to be introduced.
Alright. It's just it's
Did he
polite.
say
Like, clearly, he just said, "I know you, Finn and Alice." It's like,
Yeah,
it's
he
cool.
did.
Ah.
The others might not.
I'm fine. They know who I am. My reputation precedes me.
Mm. Okay. I mean. So why do you think we're back here again? Obviously, last time it was the frost giants that brought us here. Why do you think we're here now?
So I think Nath pipes up and he's like, "I imagine that there is more giant trouble we need to deal with. We've heard a few things. We've heard you are looking for the good King Hecaton,
Yeah, that's right. Finn's,
Lord of the Seas, Lord of the Skies, Lord of all."
right. So you know that he's missing.
Yes, unfortunately, we also know that he blames those living on the coast, or had previously blamed those living on the coast for his wife's disappearance. And I assure you, we had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, we've met the being or creature that was responsible for that. So don't worry, we're not here to throw accusations around.
Ah, good.
But we do hope you've got some information for us.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Well, we believe that the Kraken Society is holding him. We believe that they have a vessel. We've spotted such a vessel out in the sea around. I need to remember the name of the place.
It was the
Trackless Sea.
That's the one.
Around the Trackless Sea, mostly near the Purple Rocks area.
Purple rocks.
Okay. How are we supposed to get there, Nath?
Well, if you need passage, I'm sure we could spare a ship or two.
Okay, that's
How
pretty
about
good.
some sailors to get us there?
Of course.
Finn just gives Alice a look.
He says, anything we can do for the heroes of Luskin.
Cool. Because, Finn, we're not sailors.
No, we're not.
So we need someone to sail the ship to get us to where we need to be.
Yeah, I just hope none of them fall overboard.
Well, minions, what happens to minions happens to minions. Right? It's just, we need their help to get us to the ship. Let's take what we can get.
Okay. Igneous, what do you think?
Let's go, man.
As easy as that. So you don't mind going out on the ocean?
Didn't he say by the purple rocks?
Yeah,
that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, we've got to get to the Purple Rocks, which unfortunately is going to be, I don't know, a long time out on the ocean.
All right. I'm not going to enjoy it, but if I stack up on some supplies, and if it's worth our while, I'll take one for the team.
Okay. All right.
What about you, Bernard? You're not such a good sailor. You're going to be okay on the ocean.
No, I don't like going on the sea. But if it means maybe finding my family, then I'm gonna.
Right.
I've been practicing in the bath.
So Ignis is going to just hide his really brave face for a moment, and he's going to look over to Bernard and be like, I've got more dirt in my bag, man.
Thank you.
Cool.
And some eggs.
Yep.
Get hungry.
So as Bernard mentions his family, he's just going to look back at the captains and is like, have you heard of anything to do with our companion's family at all? Or Bernard, why don't you tell them a bit about your story?
Sure. Well, I've been tracking some puzzles and clues being sent by my uncle. So they've led us here to the squid business. We're Squid Gang, and we think that they must be on this boat. So this is how we crossed paths. And apparently, I don't know anything about giants, but I think both of our goals lead to the same place. So if I can find this boat, and apparently it's called the what's this boat called? The Squid
Morkoth.
Morkoth, yeah.
Morkoth. Yes, and I'm going to ask, do they know anything about someone called? And I'll just whisper it because last time it was mentioned someone died. Slark Rafal.
Show them the picture.
Well, it's a prestidigitation, so I can make this face
right.
appear. So I'll just make it appear like Slark's, what I believe to be Slark's face.
Okay, so when you say the word Slarkrathel,
Mm-hmm.
A silence kind of falls over, like at least these people, like the hustle and bustle of the marketplace continues. But there's a very ominous sort of thing where their faces were quite warm and kind of upbeat, like happy to help, that sort of thing. They've become quite solemn, and I think Urgala's the first one to break the silence. So she says, "That's terrible about your family." And you're showing the prestidigitation, are you?
Yeah, like a hologram.
Ignis is just gonna boost a bit further away from the conversation. That prestidigitation just gonna be like, okay.
Okay.
And I say this is the description that was given to me by a lovely young lady last night. Does it recognise the face?
She looks that over and she says, "Darling, that ain't Slarkrathel."
Okay, so
Interesting.
Do you know who that is?
I don't know who that is, but that ain't Slarkrathel.
Okay.
Slarkrathel is not a man.
Right.
Oh, what is Slarkrathel?
Slarkrathel is an ancient being.
Oh, shit.
That sounds like
Slarkrathel is what the Kraken Society is named for. Slarkrathel is who they worship. Slarkrathel is as a god to mere mortals.
Do you think that'd be called Slark Society?
Slark Society. So I think a smile spreads across her face for the first time since the tone turned. She's like, "That's a pretty good one."
Now, I don't think any of us.
Wow.
I don't think any of us have even looked at this face before. So this is the first time seeing this description.
Yeah.
Is it recognizable to Finn? This face?
You haven't come across this person before, this individual.
Did I describe
okay.
it like earlier, or I forget? I did
it was like a pale, gaunt, almost human face with the tattoos. And Urgala says, I just pray that you don't come across Slarkrathel. we've lost many sailors to what we assume were attacks.
Do you think that this Slark god is taking physical form, or do they just pray to him in a different dimension?
So she says, well, he's never inhabited another dimension. Slarkrathel is a kraken. He's the kraken that the society is named for.
Oh.
He's older than anything else we know. He's older than your giants. He's older than dragons.
Wow.
He's ancient.
And can Slark control people's minds, or is that an ability that Slark has?
Possibly. I mean, it's hard to tell the tales from what is fiction, but I mean, a being as powerful and as ancient as the Kraken is sure to have some powers.
Power of oldness.
Ignis is just going to creep back into the conversation and be like, sounds like he's due to be killed.
I think with that, Miros kind of like breaks into a hearty chuckle, right, and taps on his belly as he does. He's like, I like this one. Pointing to you, Ignis.
Have any of you guys seen Slark?
No one's ever seen Slark and lived.
Well, how do you know?
Says Zelda.
It's Kraken. Just rumors?
Just rumors, and the occasions where good seafaring vessels have disappeared, and were very competent sailors who could outlast any storm on very calm days. Just no reason to not return. We also obviously know about the society that worships this god.
I want to pull open my jacket there and show that I captured this from someone from the cult that we ran into in a gambling boat. So I point to the squid hat under my jacket.
Yeah.
And say that came from Catsphere Dry Land. But he did now.
Oh, Catsphere. He was running the Grand Dame, wasn't he?
The Grand Dame isn't really that grand anymore.
No, someone broke it.
She warms up, and you see Nath kind of raise an eyebrow, and he says, "So you're saying there's an opening for a riverboat?"
Yeah, I mean that riverboat's got plenty of openings now.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
I think they all laugh at that, and they begin to eye each other, like not nervously, but just like communicating what you assume is like, riverboat? Anyone?
Yeah, there's a gap in the market, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks to Finn.
Obviously, we're going to need some assistance getting out to the trackless sea.
Let's go.
Do you need anything in return? Obviously, this is a big ask.
Finn will pay you.
If it's money, we should have you covered, but is there anything that you need of us?
I think they're a little bit taken aback at this. They're very willing to help you for having saved them, and I think it's actually Zelda that finally steps forward and breaks the silence, and he says, without wanting to get too
spit it out, man.
without wanting to get too emotional about it. And you can see him struggling to kind of get the words from his chest out to you. Says, thank you for what you did for the captain with the frost giants. He would have loved to have gone out that way, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, the captain died, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He was awesome. I remember him.
Yeah.
We can do. We'll help you in any way we can. There's no payment, nothing required, and don't take that offer lightly because we pirates don't often do anything for free.
Feeling slightly emboldened with this offer, Alistair's just gonna step, just quietly take. It's just I've got one thing I want to ask. Is so it's just gonna walk on the side and just say, so I noticed the town has a zoo.
Oh my god.
I was in the zoo the other day, and
you, as soon as you say as soon as you say
Are these
zoo,
the zoo guards by chance?
no, these aren't the zoo guys.
they're not the zoo guys. I think as soon as you say zoo, Miros begins to grit his teeth, like visibly frustrated or angry.
So you don't like the zoo as much as I do? Awesome.
He kind of barks back and is like, how can they hold creatures in there? That's disgusting.
Alice is like totally excited by this. He's like, I totally agree with you, and this is one of the things, something that has been bugging me since I've arrived, and I spotted the zoo. Once we've come back from getting the information that we need about the king, Hekatara, and so forth, and sorting all that out, I want to liberate the animals from that zoo. I want to free them, and I want to shut that place down. It's an abomination. It should not exist. Can I ask for your help?
Can I just point out that
Shush, Finn. Shush.
that Alice cares so much more about the zoo that he got King Hekaton's name wrong. That's
I want the zoo.
It's for protecting endangered species.
That's what a zoo's for.
They have a breeding program.
Please give Albie in this.
That's what zoos are for.
Is that Bernard saying that?
Yeah.
Ignis, can you just take him away for a second, please?
Ignis is going to be like, a breeding program sounds pretty saucy.
Yeah, they've got a good
What is this place?
free food.
They don't get. They
They
they're
have
captive.
They do get free food.
But they're not exactly
Free.
paying for food when they're in the
they've got their own areas.
cages.
They have enrichment programs.
This is not a modern day zoo. This is a zoo in Luskin where these animals are sitting on dirt, doing nothing, in cages with nothing. I've been there and seen it.
That's a kobold's natural environment. You've been to
It
a
is
dungeon.
not. The kobold did not seem very happy being there at all.
Ignis is pretty confused right now.
Anyway, ignoring
Miros says, unfortunately, I'm a minority when it comes to my viewpoint on this house.
as I am.
And you see the others like not roll their eyes, but like, so here we go again. He says, I need to work with the guards. I can't.
The guards
Can't
don't need to know.
openly-
We just need to shut the zoo down, and I'll be happy. I will have this done. I will have this done no matter what.
Let me explain Eco 101 to you. Ask. This is what the zoo is, one of the city's main attractions. City doesn't have a tourism trade, can't pay guards, so the guards
What do you
protect the
need
zoo.
guards for? We got rid of the giants. I mean,
He says, quite frankly, like looking left and right at all the pirates standing in the town square just freely. And Petty is kind of like interposed between the two groups, and he's like, he's got a point.
Clearly the guards aren't doing a great job with you lot around here.
They did manage to protect the kobolds.
Yeah, they did.
It's a tenuous alliance.
Whatever. I'm picking back and I'm shutting the zoo down at some point. I'm now even more determined to do so. With Igneous' help. I'll be back and I'll be grabbing this guy's help as well. I'm going to rally all the troops to shut this down. Yeah.
Igneous is going to ask the pirates, have you guys got any health potions? Because we're going to be going battling that Kraken thing, and there's those purple rocks and stuff. Health potions would be pretty sweet.
They say, yeah, we can prep the boats with a string of health potions. I don't think it would do you much good against the Kraken, but we can make sure the ships are well supplied.
And whose boat are we taking?
So they look at each other, and Zelda is the first to step forward and says, I'll take you. And then Miros steps forward and says, aye, so will I.
Awesome, we'll take all of you. That's cool.
So we're going out with a couple of boats?
Two boats, two crews, for you to do with what you wish.
Right. So is there just going to be some of your guys' crew on one boat and we're all going to jump into the other?
No, so the boats will be crewed by like the irregular crew, and then you can either all jump on the same boat or jump on two different boats. Like up to you.
Okay.
About how you kind of position yourselves.
Finn just kind of takes Miros and what was the other? Zelfa? Zelfa?
Yeah.
He just takes them over to the side, just away from the crew, and he just sort of whispers something to them, which I'm messaging John with now.
Secret squirrels.
Well, he's whispering.
Better not be about the zoo.
Igneous is going to walk over to Bernard and be like, we should go on the boat that's less bumpy, man. Those bumpy ones are bad.
Is that the biggest boat or the smallest boat?
I don't know. I think these pirate people might know.
Yeah, as long as we can get, like, I think hammocks help. So they
What's
keep
that?
It's like a swing. You sleep in a
I like swings.
in a swing, so it keeps it sort of straight up and down. Just ask for one of those.
Cool. So Finn sort of pats Miros on the back, thanks him, and comes back to the crew. We'll be heading off on Miros's boat.
Alistair's curious as to what you were talking to them about, because he saw you.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to hide it from him.
Yeah, I think
it wasn't lip reading, but
I think it was pretty. I think it was pretty obvious to see like the body language and stuff. So it looked like Finn asked a question and then Miros nodded.
Yeah. Alistair's just going to give Finn a bit of a quizzical look as to sort of a please explain. Kind of what you're up to.
Honestly, it's something very minor. I just wanted to make sure that the trip was going to be comfortable for all of us. No big deal.
Cool.
Yeah. And I just wanted to see which of these captains was going to be able to help us out with that.
So we're going with Miros then.
We're gonna I think we're gonna head off with Miros.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it the smoothest boat?
Yeah, here's hoping.
You said comfortable, so Igneous is pretty happy with that.
Yeah, cool.
I think I noticed that Nath is a snappy dresser. I just want to compliment on his shoes. I can tell that.
Yeah, so he has these kind of leather, like very dark leather, black buckle shoes, which are like very. You've not really seen that kind of shoe being set up for. It's mostly like laces or very simple clasps and things. This is like this shoe kind of makes a bit of a feature of the buckle, and looks it's really nice. And so you comment on that.
Designer.
Oh,
That's my background.
Maybe you've okay, sorry, I forgot about that. You probably have seen that kind of shoe before then, but these are like very, very nice ones.
Nice ones.
So you could take some inspiration from.
Yeah. Okay.
From those shoes.
I just want to point out to him that they're really nice.
So he does like a little, like puts one in front of the other and does a little bow to you and says, "Thank you very much."
And I want to ask him if he knows any way to maybe handle a kraken, something like that. I'd say he's like a sailor of this, a pirate of this kind of stature.
That's an interesting segue from shoes to dealing with a kraken.
Any abilities to handle with kraken? But that's how I start conversations with shoes. So.
He says, "The best way I've found to handle a kraken is to run the fuck away."
You got shoes for it.
He says, "Yes."
All right. So let's go. Come on.
Yeah. When are we able to head off?
How before we head off, Ignis wants to go to the blacksmith. Sharpen his sword.
Yep. So you can get your sword sharpened. Looks great. Looks like the best it ever has.
Does the blacksmith have any weapons for sale that Ignis can buy?
Does Ignis have
perhaps a dagger?
Oh my god!
So is that just an actual knife?
I just really want John to say he doesn't stock daggers.
So you can buy a dagger from him.
Nice. So Ignis is going to pick up this dagger and be like, "I will name you Face Rend."
Face Rend?
Like,
Good
put
God.
it in his pocket and chuck over a few gold pieces.
Do you have gold pieces?
It's like 10 silver for a dagger.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, sweet. He's gonna chuck over 1 gold. That's more than 10 silver, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's equal to 10 silver.
Sweet. He's gonna chuck one over, thinking he's given heaps more for it. Thank you. It's a fine blade.
Okay. So they say it's going to take about a half day to prep the ships.
Cool.
We could leave this afternoon. It's still quite early in the morning. It's maybe sort of 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Go to the zoo. So it can take me half a day to go to the zoo. Come on.
I mean,
come on, Finn, please.
Do we have a list of what the blacksmith has on offer?
I don't have a list to share with you, but he has like basically all of the normal basic stuff.
Okay.
So if there's anything specific that you're after,
yeah, ideally just some sort of if there's any better armor I could have, really, that could upgrade my armor class.
The only kind of armor that would upgrade your armor class would you would not be like great at using.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
You do have access to the trade and exchange.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, the magical.
Which would be your best bet to. As far, let me just check if there's anything.
Was there a magical studded leather in there or something? I can't remember.
I believe there might be.
It's Elven mail.
Let's open up
too heavy for a rogue though.
Yeah. Let's open up the trade and exchange and see what's in there. I think.
Well, you're already wearing the studded leather armor +1.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I think I am actually, but I don't know if I actually have that listed in my AC.
We can check your AC in the break.
Yeah, cool. Because I do. Yeah, I think I'm pretty certain I did buy that at one point.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Yeah, and I did. Okay, but I just haven't. Yeah, I don't think I've taken that into consideration with my AC.
Okay.
So if we've got half a day, Elsa's got a choice of either convincing you guys to come to the zoo, or focusing on this book for another half a day.
Igneous is keen to go for a trip to the zoo. See this wondrous ice cream.
Actually, yeah, well, let's take a trip to the zoo for an hour.
Oh,
and so I can introduce you to Colin the Kobold and just see what happens.
Oh my gosh. Finn's just gonna look over at at Bernard, and he's like, "Are we going along with this?"
Well, if it's going to make the kids happy.
Come on, I'll introduce you to Colin, and then you'll want to free him.
Can we keep them?
Well, if we free him, we can, I suppose.
You're spoiling all your crit rolls there, Reese.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to add a dagger to my inventory.
All right, gotcha. Okay, all right, fine. Right, we'll go to the zoo, and he's just going to look at the pirate captain and go, I guess we're going to the zoo, I guess. Miros, did you want to join us at the zoo, or you got preparation to do?
We plan to free the kobold.
He'll go nuts if he goes to the zoo.
Sorry, you're asking Miros?
Yeah, does Miros want to come with us so we can secretly plan our freedom plan?
He says I should oversee the loading of the ship.
Okay, right, that sounds good.
Come on, guys. We're going to spend an hour at the zoo, then I'm going to go and read my book for a wee while before the ship's ready.
Okay. All right, let's go to the zoo.
Okay, I think we'll take a break there.
Okay. Back to the fucking zoo.
Before we get into the zoo. So I can quickly hand draw the map.
That's right, we're just going north. We're going straight to Kobold, into the Nocturnal House, and that's all we're doing.
I'll just draw that then.
Yeah, just draw that little section.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks, viewers. We'll be back in 10 minutes.
10 minutes. We'll be back. 10 minutes. See you guys soon.
just gonna finish my
This is
sausage.
what I keep trying to
Okay. I did go back, so people are going to watch you feasting on sausage. That's okay.
Yum.
Yum, yum,
Oh
yum.
yeah.
That's a good sausage. Has anyone else picked up Red Dead Redemption 2, or is it just me? It's just me. Oh,
Those
Yeah.
twisties, man. So good.
I've been playing what's that fucking
damn, come on.
Sun
Just
Game.
Cause 3?
Oh, yes!
Oh,
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
fun.
so
Yeah.
good.
You're
Dude,
lying. You've
love
been
that.
playing Octopath Traveler.
Oh, I haven't
What's that?
picked that up yet.
You've been playing Octopath Traveler. You're a liar.
Yeah, playing that too. Just that, I like at time.
We've seen Sock Merchant claiming credit for the overlay.
Well, to be fair, he is the one that.
I agree, but
Yeah.
Hat tip.
Yeah,
Sock merchant.
no, I really appreciate that. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'll give you. Oh man. Almost
Give you the
scratched
tip.
it. Oh.
He's
I'll
also
give you a cow tip.
he's also been the one that's been talking me into DMing something.
Nice.
Once we finish with this one.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Awesome.
So once this wraps
Get
up and
Sock
we
Merchant.
once we've wrapped this up and John's done an amazing job with it, we'll pass you over to an amateur who's never done it before, and it will suck. So there's that. Watch us live.
Because we'll all be here to
That's true,
walk
that's true.
you through it and make it ghastly hard for you.
Yeah.
And to
I
take
can't
you off
wait.
script as best we can.
It's
This
gonna
is
be in
by
the zoo, right?
far the most that I've DM'd though.
Yeah.
Like by far. I think the first campaign that I did was like 5 sessions.
Oh,
And then,
whoa.
and then the second thing that I did was it was supposed to be a one shot. That's how bad of a DM my DM/ was. And it was like Shannon was in it. He knows how bad it was. It was horrible. His
What was
character
that one?
that was the prison break one, the Dirty Dozen style.
Yeah,
Then
was
with
that
fa-
on?
Yeah, that was on Roll20.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah.
Where you guys literally weren't allowed to
Oh,
move anywhere.
Oh, right. You stop them from
That was
going
fun.
places.
It's always fun playing, make your own fun.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
Mm.
I think you're
I
a good
will
person because you don't get in the way too much,
Oh, cool. Thanks.
not to trying to crush the players like an old school Dungeons and Dragons. It's really antagonistic. Like when I was a kid, it was all Dungeons and Dragons and you just try and kill the players.
Yeah.
Like the way
Don't
Sock
play
like
like-
the way the Sock Merchant would
You
play.
walked down that corridor, that was a trap. You died.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Roll a new character.
When I was a
Right.
kid, I don't think we ever got above level 3.
Really?
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it was none of
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
that.
Level 3 is maximum age of the character. You die.
Yeah. Oh man.
And it took ages to level up as well, so you wouldn't just die straight away. But you guys have been playing for 18 months now, and you're level 9, so that's quite a long time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know how long my campaign will go for. Sort of Sock Merchants pointed me towards the Lost Mines of Findelver, I think it is, as a good opening campaign. I don't know how many sessions that's going to last or what, but yeah, if I quit and
I'm
stop
sure I
streaming
can
halfway
make it
through,
off
that's
script for you.
yeah. You're like, what
I think
Lost
it's-
Mines?
I think it depends on which character Dave rolls up.
Yeah, because I
If he rolls up Baby House, it's going to be like 3 years.
there you go. So about 3
I'm
months.
sorry,
for
Alice-
Sock. Interesting.
Alice has morphed into this very much I'm going to do it my way kind of character. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's been a good transition into that, I think. So for the campaign I do, we might do new characters, but for the one after that, we can bring our characters back or something. I don't know how well
Yeah, cool.
a brand new campaign with a new DM with like overpowered, with high level characters.
That
would
could
be-
Oh, we're going to do level 1s for Fendelver,
Okay,
I
cool.
think.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd have to scale the things and it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, all right.
Cool new character, yay.
Yeah, and then we can come back. I don't know if we'll do the same characters or if we can talk about that later,
Yeah.
like in terms of what we do. Also, our session length is quite a lot shorter than a standard session. Like a standard session is maybe 4 hours.
Right.
So we do about 2.5. roughly, with like quite a lot of faffing, like Exhibit A right now.
Yeah.
And not that there's not a lot of faffing in a regular session. There's like fuck tons. But yeah, it's usually a lot longer, so it might take slightly more than Sock Scam.
Yeah. Shoot, that'll be interesting. Anyway, before we get back into it, just for anyone who's watching, we've got a fancy new overlay. If you put your mouths anywhere over here or over there or there or up there, it'll have like our characters come down the sides, and you can click and you can see what spells they've got, what weapons they've got, what kind of attacks they've got. You can see all of their details, as well as the fact that Finn now has armor class 16, despite he having that for a wee while and just never having updated it. So that's cool. Also, we've got a Discord if you want to jump into the Discord. There's a little link down there. Jump in and say hi to us. Not right now, because we're streaming. Just talk here. And then also we've got a sub-only chat room where you can basically give us suggestions on what to do, and we'll have to listen. So
yeah, I've also put saucy pictures of Igneous in there too. So.
Yeah, nice.
All
just so you know.
All the day.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
So if you have fan fiction that involves Oust and Finn, bring it to life. Who knows?
That would be so awkward. In fact, that's a really cheap way to get your rocks off, eh? If that's what you're into.
Yeah, you'd be paying us to make your porn for you. That's cool, right?
Yeah, no, it's not
Just different kind of role playing.
You can just close
Not
your
D&D
eyes,
related at all.
listen to our smooth voices telling you what an elf does to a halfling. I don't know.
I could do something for you. Oh god. Yeah, I like it.
Squid business. Anyway, I think things in Luskin are definitely getting crazy.
All right, so sorry, I did miss out on some of the end of that while I was checking Finn's AC. What's the general plan? You're heading to?
We're going to the zoo to meet Colin.
Oh, we're going to the zoo. Family day out.
We're going to the zoo. Family day out. That's right.
Okay, everyone's got to go.
Mm-hmm.
What's
I think.
Sorry, Ignis?
In the middle of the marketplace, just to the south of Igneous, there is like a rat creature.
That's Wolf, I think.
I think that's
that's Wolf.
Yeah. How dare you call Wolf a rat creature?
I've never seen him like that.
Yes. Well, because he's little, remember? I haven't made him big yet.
Cool.
Actually, I should swap the tokens over. That should be the big one, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
I think so, yeah. The big one is not as scary.
See?
Yeah, this one's if I just make it bigger, you can clearly see it's a wolf and not a rat.
It's hella scary.
That
It would be
scary.
it would be the most swole rat in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Oust summoning a rat would be as terrifying though as a wolf, or effective for that matter.
Yeah, before we head off, Finn's just going to walk up to Bernard and say, look, I'm not meant to have this, but it's kind of pointless on me. And he's just going to fiddle around in his satchel for a bit and pull out the wand of wonder. He's like, you may remember that. Should I? Because I haven't had a chance to do it yet, so I'm just going to do it. I have the wand of wonder. Bernard, you may remember this because you actually gave this to us.
Is that the wand of wonder?
A long time ago, a long time ago. But please, can you hold on to this until? And this, I'm doing this without Sasha seeing because Sasha still is standing there silently.
Okay.
Just if we need any assistance, you need to use this because I can't use it.
Well,
you're the only one that's got the ability to use this.
Why do you have the wand of wonder?
Shh.
Shh.
Don't say that so loud.
Why do you have the wand of wonder?
Because I wanted it and Sasha wouldn't give it to me, so I pilfered it. But shh.
The want of wonder.
I want it.
Okay.
But anyway, can you hold on to that? And if we need it, because I feel we're going to need some help at some point, please just hold on to this until further notice.
as myself, I just want to point out isn't it interesting when Finn wants something, he just does it, but when Oust wants something, Finn puts up all kinds of barriers and arguments.
I can not give it to Bernard if you'd like, but it's pointless on me.
No.
Should we go for either
This
one
is
from
just
the
me
zoo?
pointing this out that all our friendly viewers that are quite clearly seeing the irony in this.
It's not my fault that what I think of is logical and makes sense, and yours is let's free an owlbear.
He also rolled successfully to do it, so there is that.
Exactly. Anyway,
Well, I'll discreetly take this wand of wonder. What does it look like?
it's just you should know. You found it for us. It's just like a
You gave it to us.
kind of.
I found this.
rugged
Yeah,
wand.
I found this, didn't I, John? But not in the mansion. Is that right?
I thought
No,
it was
in the
It was in the mansion.
Was?
Because
Or
a
was
lot
it
of
right at the end?
It was at the end of the mansion, so
Right.
it basically fell from the ghost of Esteban.
And he was a great and powerful wizard.
He was a great
was.
and powerful wizard, yes.
and all
So does it look like a fancy wand?
Yeah, it looks like so it looks exactly like the animation actually. I don't know if you saw that, but there's
No,
like
I didn't.
a long thin wooden bit with a topped with a star. A yellow star.
it looks exactly like what I made. Cool.
Oh god, it looks like a
Good,
5-year-old's drawing of a wand.
This may not
This
look
is
like
my
much,
picture.
but
Yeah,
this is a very powerful object.
it is. It's
So I'll
Let's
just
go to the zoo,
take
come
that
on.
and Thank you very much for handing it back to me. I mean, I gave it to you guys to use on your adventure, but if you want me to use it, I'll hold on to it for now.
cool. Thank you.
Put it in my pocket.
Thank you. Let's go.
Come on,
to
let's
the
go.
zoo.
Okay, so I think like just before everybody clears out of the the town square, Dora, whom has been snowed
Oh, you always forgot about Dora.
most of the rest of this thing. I mean, it's pretty common with the NPCs for us to forget about them. Let's be honest. And I didn't even bring her token over, and I think I might have deleted the map that her token was on. So I will sort that out later. But she kind of comes over to you all and says, it makes sense that you would go off into the trackless sea. I do need to get back to my family in Neverwinter, but I'm very confident. I'm sure it'll be very easy for me to get secure passage from here to there. I am keen to spend the day with you at the zoo, though.
Yes.
as a sort of goodbye, but like final outing sort of thing, and in a very
Absolutely. Come on.
in a very low stakes, friendly environment instead of the situations we normally find ourselves in. How about it?
Consider it
Get
a
some candy
date. Come on,
floss.
let's go to the zoo. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It should be like a montage.
She's someone I can use in the zoo. Yeah. Let's do a zoo.
Yeah,
montage.
it's gonna be like one of those animes where they take a break for an episode
Yeah.
and they just show you them at like a theme park.
Or at the beach in swimsuits and stuff.
Yeah, and someone's feet get sore, and then someone's like, yeah, that's the
Awesome.
that's the sitch.
Yeah, except this montage includes Oust's face being eaten off by an owlbear.
Shh. We're not even going near the LB just yet. We're going to the kobold. I have this to
Just
prove
yet.
to you.
Okay.
And once you believe me, you'll follow my plan,
Mm-hmm.
which is not
Colin.
yet formed.
Ignis is just gonna look to Dora and be
John,
like,
you named him. Come on, support, back me up here.
What? It's like it's your story, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go to the zoo. I want to introduce him to Colin the kobold.
The Finn doesn't know the DM exists.
All right, we're going to the zoo now.
And therefore he doesn't know that Colin exists.
Exactly.
Well, he won't know Colin exists until he gets to the zoo, and I introduce him to Colin. And if Colin's dead, then I'm stuffed. But at least you're in the zoo, and I can divert attention.
I
My whole
hope
point is
Colin's
to get
not
them to the
dead.
zoo.
All right.
I bet we'll get there and Colin's being fed like grapes and stuff like that.
Being treated like a king.
Oh,
So we're sorry we
I'll
treated
be
you like
most
that.
unhappy if that's the case. But
Mhm.
he's got his own
Let's-
breeding program.
Yeah. Let's not waste any time dallying in this square and go to the zoo.
Okay. Cool. Just let me move you guys' tokens over to the zoo.
I'm excited about this. This is the handmade map here, John.
Oh yeah, this is totally. I just knocked this up in the break. It's gonna be great.
Ignis is just going to look over at the door and be like, I'm so glad you want to come to the zoo, because I was a little bit on the fence, but yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I didn't delete this one because I kind of guessed that Alice might want to go back to this.
Of course. Of course.
It was a pretty... if the TAB was offering odds on it, it would have been about $1.
You knew I was heading back here. I had a mission and I failed miserably, so I had to get my friends to help out.
Okay, so you were all at the zoo, and this time it's at daytime, so you can clearly see everything that's going on. So there's an information, this time, with some information center with a person kind of hunkered forward in it. And there's like a little restaurant / gift shop on your right here. There's like a little guardhouse sort of thing. There's a beautiful lake behind the information center.
Not interested.
This place looks like a living hell for these creatures.
Oh, it looks lovely.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's very green and yeah, it's great.
All right. So is it quite busy?
It's not super busy. Like it's, I think you're all like here, like quite early-ish in the day.
Do we stand out? We don't look like tourists, do we? We look like adventurers kitted with swords and bows and arrows and daggers.
I think a lot of tourists would travel with weapons on their person.
All right.
I mean, there's bandits and barbarians and all sorts.
Finjas is quickly just gonna lead Alpha outside and like secure Alpha and Beta 2 just the outside. They're not. I don't need them to come in and see what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they might get upset seeing animals in cages.
Well, no, like
That's forbid.
Maybe if there's griffins, they might get upset, and I don't want that. Yeah.
Okay.
Griffins
is this like where the map is and stuff? This thing.
That's like the You Are Here map. There's also one attached to the center over here.
All right, so Alice is pretty keen to get straight to where he remembers Colin being.
Okay.
So it's like, come on, guys, let's just flag these unimportant, animals. I want to show you where Colin is. Come with me.
I just want to whisper to Ignis, hey, should we get ice cream?
Yes.
Get ice cream after.
And
is the restaurant? Is there like a place where they sell ice creams?
Yeah. You can see like a big sign for ice cream in the window of the restaurant.
Ignis is going to look over at the door and be like, want to get in on this ice cream?
She's like, shit yeah. Like her eyes say shit yeah. She doesn't even have to say it. You just know.
Yeah. Oh.
She's all about that. All about that. That soft serve.
Yeah.
Mr. Whitty, man.
Yeah.
Be quick, Ignis. Be quick.
Dad's getting impatient.
Yeah.
I want to go see Colin. I'm not hanging around for too long, and I need
it's
you.
Like visiting your prisoner husband or something.
Yeah. And with
conjugal visit.
With that, Finn's just going to make his way over to the information. So there's someone in that little information booth, eh?
Yeah. So I just kind of perch forward and like, hey, how's it going? What can I do for you today?
Just here to see Colin.
Colin?
Yeah, Colin. We're just here to see Colin. Just seeing how Colin's doing.
Oh, continue, Dick. I hate you right now.
Oust, it's Colin, isn't it? Is it Colin? Oh, he just said there's someone called Colin here that we're here to see.
I don't think we have any guards named Colin, and none of the zookeepers are.
No, it was
named Colin.
An animal called Colin.
Alice is just going to grab him and drag him away and say, like, way to tell them that I was here at night talking to the animals, you Dick. Just
so hold on. let's see what happens here, because there might be information. So you're kind of like giving us shit but asking this question, because you genuinely don't believe that it's a Colin, right?
That's exactly right.
And when you say like there's an animal here that is called Colin, asked you, is this at the point where you're intervening?
Yeah,
or?
I'm just gonna grab him and just say, dude, just shush.
Okay, so you feel these hands laid upon you. Finn, are you resisting? Are you
No,
trying
I'm not.
to slip them?
No, he's just cracking up. He's just cracking up.
Okay.
You're a dick.
Go ahead and roll insight, Finn.
Insight. Okay. Oh, there we go.
Oh, look at that!
You
Now you
know it.
roll
I've rolled a crit fail and a crit success.
Nice.
You're doing great.
I think as you are being dragged away, you see the guy who was in the house just kind of like bring a like a handkerchief up to his brow and just like pat it down as though he was sweating.
So what? This is
So
the
he's
guy in the
lying to you.
information center.
Yeah, the guy in the information like kiosk hut thing.
Right. Okay.
And what you, I think with a crit, what you ascertain from that is that like he was glad that you were dragged away and that you didn't continue probing this Colin character.
But this is something that Finn completely noticed.
Finn noticed this, yes.
Yeah.
With your crit.
And so Finn kind of like looks up at Alison while he's laughing. He notices that, and he kind of stops laughing for a bit.
Yeah,
And he's
that's
like,
right.
and so he kind of like pushes Alst's hand off his shoulder, and he's like, you know who I'm talking about, don't you?
He's like, no guards here, no zookeeper's name Colin.
No kobolds called Colin.
Not that I know. I wouldn't know what a kobold's name would be.
But you'd
notice,
have one here.
And you notice on the map that's next to like his station that there's a sticky kind of plaster covering what used to, one of the sections, and where Alst would be able to describe to you that there was a kobold thing, but there's like a sticker saying,
yeah, it's all coming together.
Vacant though.
That's concerning. Can Al see this? Because if Al see this, he's going to be very upset.
So there was a kobold here recently, wasn't there? What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Colin. No, my name is. As he trips over his word, he says, "No, my name's Greg."
Greg.
Colin. I don't know who Colin is.
Greg.
And you hear his voice kind of crack as he says Colin.
There was a kobold here yesterday, wasn't there?
We have had kobolds here in the past, yes. Well, a kobold.
Yeah.
And he like begins looking around and
Greg,
like,
Greg, is there still a kobold here?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. There's no kobold display.
There was a big noise that came out of here last night. Greg.
Oh, I wasn't here last night. I worked the morning shift.
Yeah, but I'm sure the guards filled everyone in.
But then the overnight guards are a little bit weird. They always say that things are happening at night, and I honestly think most of the time they just play cards.
And Finn just kind of motions for Alce to come over.
Yeah, I'm been watching this and I'm curious. So yeah, I'll come. What's up?
Greg here doesn't seem to know anything about any loud noises last night, that he doesn't know about any sort of kobold that could be
Really?
here.
So I think during this time, Bernard, Igneous, and Dora are hoeing into some sweet ice cream.
Oh yeah.
Are we
Sorry,
supposed to be able to control our little guys?
Yeah, can you not control yours?
No.
Oh, man,
It's not a big deal though. Don't worry about it.
I'll do that now.
But yeah, I'm enjoying an ice cream. What do you think,
Yeah.
Igneous?
Igneous is like super relaxed, just chilling with Dora and Bernard. And like,
Chilling.
oh, like after a
calm.
big breakfast and then an ice cream, Igneous is just so happy. He's just like,
Yeah.
this isn't no prison. I don't have
Some
ice cream
day-
in prisons.
I know.
Yeah, ice cream
Okay.
to the visitors, not the inhabitants. Igneous.
They like if the
Igneous
visitors get
doesn't hear
good,
that.
the people that live here, how good they are.
Oh.
Look at this nice lake and this dirt. So good.
There's nice mood music and there's restaurant.
Yeah. Look at that little seagull. So cute.
I'm gonna get an ice cream sundae. Oh no, like a spider float.
Oh yeah.
It's a spider float.
It doesn't have spiders. It's just like
I think
cola.
with the spider float, they've got like a plastic spider that they chuck on the side of the glass
Wow.
as well,
Plastic.
just to
Just
few-
plastic, D&D plastic spider.
like a manufactured one, and it's like left over from some sort of festival that they had. They just hang it off the side of the glass view.
Spooky, Igneous?
Oh, it's so good, man. I'm quite happy to
Alright.
spend the day here. I don't want to go on
While
this
these
stupid boat.
kids are enjoying ice cream,
If they're both-
what's going
Oh,
on?
we gotta go.
Can we talk about the ice cream for another 35 minutes?
No, can we not? Can we avoid that, please?
Okay, let's get back. Okay, so Greg is there,
Greg is really
making all sorts of
quite
mistakes,
happy.
obviously.
So can I see on the map where this vacant sign is?
Yeah, you can see the vacant sticker.
So
It's plastered
obviously,
over where
I'd
Colin
recognise
was.
that where Colin was. So I'm gonna basically say to Greg. So Greg, yesterday, that enclosure had Colin the kobold in it. Why is it vacant now? I know this because I was here and I saw him.
He kind of looks left, looks right, and slams his shutter down with his little thing, and you see him bolt out around the back of the thing and run towards this place here. What do you do?
I'm just gonna look at Finn and go, "See, Finn, I wasn't lying. Clearly, something's happened to my."
So
kobold friend."
he's if you want to have that conversation, he will make it to that house before you can intercept him.
I mean, no. Do we chase him? Do we not?
There's no this is away from being in character right now. There's no point like going to where Colin is because it's clearly vacant. So this guy, if you want to know where this kobold is,
let's get him.
All right.
I'm just gonna look at Finn and go, "See," and take off after him.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an athletics check, and he will contest you.
Piece of cake.
Where my dice gone?
They do cake here too, Bernard. Let's get some cake.
Roll for what kind of cake it is.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! Maybe not so piece of cake. It's a 9.
You can add your plus cake modifier.
Minus your cake modifier.
Finn, are you chasing him as well, or am I just chasing him?
Yeah, so he sees Finn sees Oust go to run after and takes chase as well. Because suddenly something's going on. Finn didn't believe Oust at all, but something very, very
This
suspicious.
must be appealing to your sense of honor and
Just curiosity. He needs to know. He needs to know what's going on.
awesome.
Okay. Go ahead and roll athletics. See if you can pin down Greg.
Please
13,
feel
not
better
very
over
good.
them. Jeez.
You know what? There's going to be just a chance of luck here to...
Oh yeah, I like it. Finn's invested
Wow,
all
all
of a
the
Yeah,
stops.
yeah.
sudden.
Let's try this.
Poor old Greek.
25. There we
damn.
go.
I really wanted you to blow all 3 luck points on chasing down Greg. Yeah, so he beats the 25. No, just kidding. Yeah, so like he's sprightly for what you were expecting, and he's like manages to slip the first tackler in oust, and then Finn, you just kind of like you start like stumbling towards him, but then you manage to catch your foot in this like little divot of dirt that's just like perfectly positioned, like a runner's starter block, and you just manage to like leap forward from there, and you just
awesome.
easily tackle him. You
Brilliant.
thank your lucky stars as you do. But yeah, you pinned down Greg.
All right, we've got him.
All right, so are we sort of close to this building?
Yeah, you're kind of like in front of the door there.
Oh, let's just...
And Greg starts yelling, "Mr. Stevens! Mr. Stevens!"
And Finn just puts his hand over Greg's mouth. It just slices his throat. No. 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 I mean, what would happen if...
Stevens.
Maybe I just should anyway. No, just to see
You
what
can
happens.
do that later. Let's find
Yeah.
out where Colin is.
And so he just looks Greg like right in the eyes. He's like, Greg, you need to calm down.
You can feel that heaving, like the breaths in his chest
Yeah.
begin to grow slower. He's like looking at your eyes, like freaked out, but just trying to calm himself down.
Yeah. Now take a breath. I'm going to take my hand away from your mouth. And if you call for Mr. Stevens is going to die.
You just see his eyes like widen.
What I want from you, Greg, is to find out what my mate knows and why he knows what he knows and where this kobold has gone. Can you do that for me, Greg? Okay. And Finn just slowly moves his hand away from Greg's mouth.
I think he goes, "Look, there was a kobold here, and I heard somebody tried to steal him last night. The kobold's been a bit of a controversial attraction the whole entire time we've been here. Some people believe that kobolds have, kobolds are the same as us, but they're not. They're animals. They're different. I mean, they can talk somewhat, but I mean, dogs can understand things.
But where is Colin now?
I don't know where he is. I only know that he that they wanted to get some information out of him about what happened last night.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if he'll be back at some point, or whether they'll retire him.
Oh, Oust hears that, and he's just basically... So, if the guards were interrogating Colin, where would they do it? Take us there now.
I guess probably the storehouse up by the Nocturnal Centre would be the best.
I know where that is.
Place.
Lead the way. Does he have a key?
He shakes his head. No, like I'm the information boy.
Where can we get a key for that storehouse?
Well, Mr. Stevens would have a key.
Where's he?
He's in the office here.
It's right there.
I guess we're taking him into the office and getting a key then, aren't we?
Finn kind of gets off Greg. Doesn't get Greg
Gets
off. He
him
just
off.
Gets Greg off, yeah.
As a little thank you for the information.
he gets off Greg and offers him. I was going to say offers him a hand, but helps Greg to his feet and just sort of says, "That wasn't too hard, was it, Greg?"
So they told me not to say anything. They said I'd lose my job. So now I think I'm gonna lose.
No one has to know about this, Greg. So Mr. Stevens is just in here.
You're about to take me into Mr. Stevens' office. Of course I'm gonna lose my job.
Well, not if he dies and you become the manager.
That's how it works.
That can be arranged. That can be totally arranged.
As you say that, you just see a flash of ambition ignite his eyes.
Yeah. So you
As
help
Greg
us.
is like,
There's promotion in this for you.
me, manager.
Yeah. If Mr. Stevens is not around, you could be the manager.
Man, it's Greg's lucky day, man. He got
And I'm
promotion.
more than happy to help you with this.
And he kind of shakes his head. He's like, there's so many people between. Do you think? No.
Noble.
It's like,
There's no way.
Stephen's family.
There's no way. There's so many others that would be picked ahead of me. Surely.
First and first serve to Greg. You know, if you're the first man to take the mantle, then so be
Yeah,
it.
that's how hiring policies work.
If there's no one to hire him, it's gonna
Wearing
work.
like a crown or something.
yeah, he just has to put the zoo crown
In a
on,
game of zoo,
and then he's the leader of the zoo.
Anyway,
Okay, so-
take it. Let's go see this Mr. Stevens. I want a key for that store.
The manager is dead. Long live the manager.
Sorry. I just thought of a great question for the end of campaign question.
Whew.
Okay.
Come on, Finn.
So you walk into the office and you see this bald man sitting like in basically all khaki, sitting at the
zoo
desk.
crown.
wearing,
Don't forget the zoo crown. That's important.
he's wearing a special it's not a lapel, but like you know how in the military they have like special epaulette. That's the thing. He's got like a special epaulette that says manager.
Oh, we just need to take that off him. That's fine.
Sweet.
Piece of cake.
And he looks up from his desk because he's like writing things down and says, "The fuck do you want, Greg? What are you doing in here?"
This guy's so gonna die. That's not how you talk to your staff.
So what are we doing in here, Oust?
We're here to get the key.
Just the key.
And
I want the key to the storeroom so we can find out where Colin is.
he says, "Oh, all right then."
No. He's so compliant. I love
And
it.
begins to reach down to his waist and then looks up and says, "Oh, hold on a minute. Who the fuck are you?"
Oh, dear. Greg, would you like to explain the situation?
Finn
I'm
keeps
just
him
gonna
off.
I'm just gonna push
Finn's like,
Greg forward.
I know what to do.
I'm just gonna get the manager off.
Oh man.
So us is just gonna nudge Greg forward and tell him to explain the situation that he finds himself in.
So you say to him, "Explain the situation that you find yourself in."
Yeah, Greg, you know what we need. You talk to your manager here. Explain the
He
situation.
says, they were asking questions about Colin, and and as he sees Colin, like the Mr. Stevens' eyes like burn with this bright intensity and like digging holes in Greg's head. And he says, and then I shut the information kiosk. He says, you shut the information kiosk? What have I told you about that? And he says, and then I ran over here, but they tackled me. And he's like, oh, is that what I heard? You trying to call out Mr. Stevens? For fuck's sakes. Yeah. What do you want? He looks over at you all. That's what Greg's told them. Told her, sorry.
So, Elson's never been great at explaining himself when he wants something, so he's just going to nudge Finn. So Finn, come and help me out here, man.
This is all you. This is all you, buddy.
Fucking
Put your big boy pants on. We've got.
This is not where Elson excels in convincing people of anything.
This is your time to shine.
So, it's our understanding that you had a kobold here yesterday, and something occurred last night, and it appears the kobold is no longer in its enclosure. And your man Greg here has explained that the guards might be wanting to find out some information from this kobold, and potentially that could result in him being retired. Sorry, but I can't allow that to happen, and I really want to show my friends this kobold, and we've come here specifically to see the kobold, so I really want to see the kobold. And I'm quite disappointed that he's not in his enclosure.
And while Alistair's just running his mouth, Jesus, I'm just gonna keep an eye. I'm just gonna keep an eye. See, can Finn see the key anywhere, or a set of keys hanging somewhere or anywhere around?
Give me a moment. So, Mr. Stevens. So have you all entered the office at this point, or are you standing at the door? Tell me how you're positioned.
I'm standing directly, well, not directly, but slightly to the right of Greg, who's no doubt entered the office and talking to his employer. I expect Finn is standing to my left because that's where he belongs.
Okay, so hold on. So you both are kind of like there, and then you have in between you.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
And I assume Igneous and Bernard are still
eating ice cream.
I've got a toffee apple.
All right, toffee apple, fine.
Let's get back to Bernard, Igneous, and Dora for just a moment. What's happening with you?
How good is this place?
Amazing.
We should come here all the time.
I gain one ally, I lose one. Man.
I think we're
so good.
We go to the ship.
People spend so much time on food. It's really good.
I want to just go over to the bar, the candy bar, and see if I can just grab a couple of candy apples and see if. Do you want to try one of these, Igneous? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried one before?
I think as you go to get up and push back in your chair and make that sort of noise, someone shows up at the table with a candy apple actually for Igneous.
Oh.
So Igneous
we had a spare one. Do you want it?
Igneous is looking at it and he can't decide whether he should eat it now or put it in his bag of holding for later. So
Let's
he's going to roll.
While we have a look around, I want to have a look at some of these birds. I quite like birds.
Yeah. While you're doing that, sub 10, he eats it. Post 10, bags it.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Okay, can you do me another 20?
This is the bag.
So as it's offered to you, I think the way that you grab it is to just put your hand over the apple and just take it back and just go, feel thankful that someone gave you a toffee apple and then you bag it.
Thanks.
And then you've got these very sticky fingers.
He's used to that.
Just everything sticking. Okay. By the stick, Igneous, by the stick.
You eat that. No?
Should we go have a look at some birds or something? We haven't got much time, I think, until our boat leaves. Because that was going to be an hour, I think.
Yeah, we're only going to be an hour here, so...
Yeah. Dora, what do you want to do?
Dora's like, yeah, I'd love to see some birds.
Okay.
Lead the way, Bernard.
We'll come back to you guys
Alright.
visiting the birds. So back to Mr. Stevens and Greg. So I think Mr. Stevens stands up from his desk, rolls his chair back, stands up from his desk, moves over to the door where you are, Finn, looks out it, appears to be looking around.
Yeah, like Finn, while Else was talking, Finn wanted to see if he could see any kind of keys or anything as well.
Yeah, and so what you notice as he stood up is that there's a ring of keys on his belt.
Okay.
Which you kind of like assumed when he was reaching for that before.
Finn undoes his belt.
and gets them off.
Undoes Mr. Stevens' belt.
Yeah. So he's kind of leaning past you a little bit, and he's looking past you, and then he goes to close the door behind you. And are you gonna get the keys off of him?
Yeah. I want Else to just basically So Finn's gonna look up at Else and is kind of like,
oh, so you want me to keep talking, right? Okay, sure. So I'm just going to keep regaling my story about how important it is that we find this kobold. Yeah. And Mr. Stevens, I need your attention here because it's really important that we see this kobold. And I know he's here, and I'm highly disappointed that the sign in the thing says vacant now.
And while Else is sort of talking, Finn's just kind of breaking off and sort of just looking around the office, kind of just casually, while at the same time controlling his mage hand to go get the manager off. Sorry, I mean, just for a sneak. To see if we can like sneak the keys with the mage hand. God, please not a one. Because if I roll a one, it is going to get him off.
Getting him off on the thing.
Sleight of hand. Okay.
Sleight of hand.
15. Oh, it's not the best. I think I'm just going to use another luck point for this one. I want to make sure we get a good.
Make sure you get Mr. Stevens off.
Yeah, 23. There we go.
You can
your luck is working so well for you.
Better than that.
Okay, so
didn't even feel it.
I think with the 23, you managed to remove the hoop of keys from Mr. Stevens' belt and like kind of dance it along the air towards yourself, and you managed to kind of stash it all fairly silently. As the mage hand kind of dances towards you, you kind of grasp all the keys together to make sure they don't like jingle, and then that's how you make sure that it's like nice and silent as you put it away.
Nice.
Nice, well done.
He motions to you both. He motions to you both and says, "Have a seat, gents."
No, we're good.
He's like, I thought you wanted to talk about.
I don't want to talk. I want to see.
Well,
I'm not here to talk.
I'm afraid that the kobold's not here anymore.
Okay, well, I mean, if that's the case, we'll just be on our way, I guess.
Yeah, we'll leave you and Greg to sort out the information desk problem right now.
Finn's just going to be like, sorry, Greg.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Promotion.
I think as the two of you exit the manager's office, Mr. Stevens is just like laying into Greg like verbally. He's like, "You're fucking useless, Greg. You'll never be anything. You'll never amount to anything. If I didn't need an information desk so badly, you would be gone so fast." Like you just hear this tirade of like verbal abuse being hurled at Greg, and he's just there with his head down, just taking it.
Good.
I guess
like what happened to Colin.
And so I think what happens is like the two groups of the party have had very different experiences, but you both meet back up outside here.
Just before we head back to the group, Finn's just going to walk over to the door that Greg came out of, and he's just going to slide one of his what has he got? What's he got? What can he give? Maybe one of his platinum pieces just under the door as a thank you for Greg. Just kind of like pushes it under the door and flicks it to try and get it in there. So next time Greg appears in there, he's been paid for his misfortune.
How much?
So that must be all the platinum gone, right?
No. We've still got. I've still got 2.
It's like 1,000 gold, right?
It's a lot of platinum.
We got a lot of good information out of them.
Man, all about Colin.
I can't push like 300 gold pieces under a door. And I'm not
One
gonna...
gold would be enough.
Woo!
It's all good.
Okay, cool. Sweet.
He will open his own zoo.
yeah. Oh, there we go. One platinum is. See,
With
X-Cat
as many kobolds as he can afford.
See, X-Cat's saying 1 platinum is just 10 gold. Is that right?
Not in our world.
Not in our world. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
In our world, it's 1,000 gold.
All right, cool. There you go.
I changed it because I wanted like less coins to
Yeah, gotcha.
ratio.
Cool. I thought so. I think 1,000's a good payment for the info we got.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
So,
So,
the pirates.
Good tipper, man.
Man, that is.
The dude's gonna lose his job. We
He's
basically.
not gonna lose his job. He just got a tirade of shit because he was an idiot. But anyway,
He wasn't. He was just an innocent bystander in like your like adventures. So like, and now he's lost his job.
This is what happens to minions, Finn. You know this.
He's not. He was an innocent bystander.
Minion.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So you all meet back up, and like I think Bernard and Igneous, you both kind of like had your fill, unless you wanted to like just.
I'm going to be walking.
look at his bloody hands.
Yeah, and so Igneous and Bernard are like walking out like
Leisurely.
leisurely eating their last things.
I'm going to make it last. Got my candy apple. I'm just going to cruise around the zoo. That's my plan.
Dora's just like rubbing her belly like, oh my gosh. Oh, I've never eaten so much ice cream. Oh,
I'm
candy floss was so good.
We've got some work to do now.
And
I hope you...
Finn just pulls the keys out and just chucks them to Oust.
All right, let's rock.
This
So
this better be worth it.
Oust is basically heading up towards the it was number 7 where I'm assuming where they're holding him in that storage shed, because that's where I remember it being. So Oust is running full noise towards there to go find.
Wasn't it 6? Wasn't it the?
I
You
know
never
I've been
went
there.
into 6.
Did I go to 6?
Okay.
You never went to 6.
I never went to 6. I went to 7.
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So as you're running through the zoo, you pass the thunder lizard and the birds. What's everyone else doing?
I'm surprised that you're running at full tilt.
Yeah. Ignis is just going to be like, idiots. Just going to just walk slowly along with Bernard and Dora. Relax, bro.
Yeah. Finn's just walking along with Bernard and Igneous and.
Alright, fine.
Dora.
Fuck you all then.
So aggressive.
I'm gonna get my friend.
I'm just going to ask Finn what the big hurry is.
I'm not in a hurry. I'm walking with you guys. I don't want to make a scene. I don't want to be suspicious at all.
I like how you actually have a toffee apple stick.
Yeah.
I mentioned.
Was he running to the bathroom? Or?
So we've got the keys to where we think Colin is. So it turns out. Oh, by the way, it turns out Colin's real. By the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I never doubted it.
Colin is a fantastic place, man. His ice cream is great.
Yeah. Imagine how fat he is.
Yeah. It must be all the
Cannot
ladies.
Wait for you guys to see Colin and apologise profusely for how dicky you've been.
That's what happens to minions.
Should we just go back to the boat?
Well, yeah, I want to have a look at our bird. At least
Oh,
like
yeah.
I thought Ignis...
Yeah, let's do the birds. So I think as everyone's passing, God, that wasn't even that bad. As everyone's passing, you see the thunder lizard, and then you see these like a vulture, which is basically the size of a regular vulture, an enormous raven, like a raven that's as big as a vulture, and then at the very tippy top, you see a hawk whose feathers are blood red.
Ignis is just going to look towards the thunder lizard and be like, Gordon! Gordon! He's like, see?
Roll perception.
Oh, this would be disaster.
Dum. Perception.
Oh!
Yeah, you get no acknowledgement.
So Ignis is even more determined that this place is just fantastic, and none of the animals can talk back, and Alster's just being a cheeky guy.
Okay. Cool. Anything else you're doing as you're walking past these majestic animals?
I'm going to whistle to the birds as I'm walking along eating my toffee apple towards the top.
Okay. Go ahead and roll just plus charisma.
It's a 0.
I don't think we've got anyone on our team with good charisma.
No.
Sasha's charisma is pretty decent.
Yeah.
I'm not a big whistler.
So while everyone else is walking forward, Ignis is just going to like stretch his arm out like, oh, and go over sort of Dora's shoulder. Just having a nice day in the zoo.
What kind of charisma?
Okay, go ahead and roll charisma.
Let's do it.
Oh, look at that.
What a clutch roll. What a clutch roll.
Sock Merchant's fanfic is just going to go nuts.
Yeah.
I think what happens is as you kind of pull your move, is that at first, Dora is like surprised. She's like, oh, like that she felt like your arm on like around her, and then like she looks up at you, kind of dull-eyed, smiles slightly, and then just kind of like leans into you.
Oh, nice.
That's sweet.
Nice.
Bitches love zoos.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love antlers and vultures?
Yeah.
So romantic, right?
Okay, Alice, let's resolve what you were doing.
Right, so I'm obviously hoofing it up to here. I know I can't remember. I think I was in the top one last night when I broke in. So I'm going to assume that Colin is in the top one because that just seems logical to me for now. So I'm just going to basically fumble through the keys trying to open the lock to the door.
Okay. Just before we resolve that, we're probably going to go about 10-ish minutes over time. Is everyone good with that?
I'm
or
good.
Yeah, that's fine.
It won't be that long. Okay,
Can't see,
so
don't worry.
yeah, there's just a hanging kobold in the store, being like just like strips of him being torn off for meat for other animals. No, seriously, when you open when you open the food storage units, like the first one you open, there's nothing in there apart from what you saw last night, and I'm assuming you just go ahead and open the second one as well, and it's very similarly laid out. It's like shelves and racks of food.
Does it look like there's any kind of secret doors or sort of trap doors to underneath where they might be hiding a secret interrogation room, as people might have put it?
Roll investigation.
All right. Yeah, that could be interesting. Oh my god. Having a nightmare tonight with my rolls. That's an 8.
You can't see any secret, like you're searching around, like patting things down, and you can't seem to see any secret compartments.
Okay, at frustrated, at this point of frustration, Alistair's just going to yell at Colin, where are you?
Oh
Colin, I know you're here. Where are
Finn's
you?
kind of just wandered off. Is there any signage or anything on this building up here?
It's an unmarked building, and in fact the path doesn't even go up there, but you can see like there's tracks.
All right.
Of people having gone like to and fro.
Yeah. And he's just going to, Alst, have you thought maybe this, do you want to check out this building?
All right, cool.
Come check this one out.
Cool. You seem to know what you're doing.
I'm just, I don't know.
Alistair's just in a wild panic right now because his story is like falling apart around him.
Yeah, so I think he's running around like tearing his hair out, like
he's like really stressing. Yeah, like he knows that Finn believes in that Colin exists, but he needs that final piece of Colin to be there to prove his point. And so he's kind of in this wild panic right now, so nothing is working.
Cool if Colin pulled off his mask and it was Mr. Stevens.
Oh, Mr. Stevens! Got you. Yeah, that would result in a blade.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you and your pesky wolf. Yeah. So what? Sorry, what's going on?
So Alistair's following Finn and bringing the keys with him, assuming we're heading towards the door and trying keys on the door.
Okay.
Finn's gonna like just see if he can hear anything happening inside this building.
Go ahead and roll perception.
Are there any windows or anything in this building?
There are no windows that you can see.
Oh, this is so the interrogation room, bro.
Only 9.
Dude.
I'm not going to use my last luck point on this. There might be someone else I need to get off.
No sounds.
No sounds.
That you can pick up.
Alright, Alistair's just unlocking the door. He's like well past waiting and dealing with this. He's just cracking in with whatever keys he's got.
Okay, so you find a key that fits the lock. Bernard and Igneous, what are you doing?
Catch up, boys.
I'm going to go see the owl bear that I've heard so much about.
Okay. So you reach this point in the path and you can see Alston, Finn there as well, and then you can see the signs for the owlbear and the nocturnal enclosure. What do you call it? Enclosure?
Enclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Habitat, whatever.
Nocturnal habitat. That's what they would call it.
Okay.
And go
Well, just
ahead
give
and
them a little wave. Do they look distressed or?
Alistair's really distressed right now.
Finn's pretty cool and collected right now. He's just waiting on Alice to open up this door.
Look a little bit puzzled and then just push open the door. I'll say, let me know if you need a hand.
Oh.
And his voice trails off as he enters the owlbear enclosure. Before we get back to Bernard, Igneous, what's going on with you?
Igneous is just strolling along the door, just enjoying the sun. Just like at a really slow pace. Like by this stage, we've probably made it to about here. Just just having zoo time.
Just having zoo time. So Dora's snuggled up to Igneous. She said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna miss you."
Igneous is gonna be like,
What?
why?
Well, I'm going to Neverwinter, and you're going to Trackless Sea.
Are they near each other? Will you write to me?
I can write to you. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Okay. I'll need an address to write to.
Tell me about yourself a bit more.
And with that, we go back to.
I think we're gonna go back to Bernard.
We rolled 20 before. They're basically married.
Yeah.
Yeah. She tells you about herself.
Yeah, nice.
So Bernard, so you walk into this room, and it's like it's all dark apart from like a few very sparsely placed, like very low light, sort of oil lanterns that are burning very slowly, just to give enough so that you can you can see into a little bit into some of the enclosures.
Some are known.
Oh, you have dark vision, do you?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically like amplified by the amount that you have dark vision. So it's like a little bit of light goes a long way for you. And you can see like some coming soon sort of attraction stickers, like a vacant thing up here. And then like an R.I.P. Colin sign. No, there's just a few. There's just a few open ones here.
Ah, so most of these are empty.
Yeah. So those three there are empty. Are you moving forward?
Smelly?
It does smell a little bit, yeah. So I think from where you're standing now, looking to your left, you see a sign that says "Invisible Pixies."
That's handy.
They all got invisible pixies.
And there's like inside the enclosure, there's like a mushroom forest. Like there's like what looks like a fairy circle that's been made with flowers, and there's like mushrooms and just like this incredible little like habitat. Which, if there was a fairy in there, you imagine that they'd really like it.
All right, it doesn't seem so bad. I can't see any movement or anything in there.
Go ahead and roll perception.
I feel like the zookeepers have gotten.
I think at this point, what Bernard's kind of doing is he's just kind of leaning forward into the enclosure, or not into it, but like at it, and he's like, "Is there fucking pixie?" You know how like when you're at a zoo and you can't really see the animal that's in the enclosure, and you're like, "Man, can anybody see it?
Can anyone see these invisible
fairies?" There's like a couple of people I think around there who are like really interested in seeing these invisible pixie / fairies. And
there's
a bit of
a big
information.
one there.
Yeah, but they're all very quiet. And they're all like, "Oh man."
It's like looking at the kiwis.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
That's
I got
exactly,
it.
it's exactly what it's like. I think with a 15, you stare at it for a good couple of minutes, and everybody around you is like, "No, I can't see anything. I can't see anything either."
Oh, is there an owlbear in here? I'm not going to ask the
Are
person.
you just announcing that?
Yeah.
I'm just imagining this little gnome like looking through in the cage for all these invisible fairies. Can't see. Is there any owlbears in here?
This is obviously a load of crap. They can't afford anything in this place. Those three are empty, so they've made something up here. There's not even a kobold.
Yeah. So I think as you say, like, are you just calling that out like normal volume, or are you whispering it, or
not loud? I'm just gonna say, "Hey, is there an owlbear in here? Is there a really loud hoot?"
I think as you say that to the person, you just kind of whispering it to them.
I just say it like a normal sort of low level, not yelling or anything.
Okay, so the volume in here, for whatever reason, maybe it's because it's dark or whatever, is a little bit lower, and the person who you're next to is like,
oh, it's like that ghost in Ghostbusters.
yeah.
I'm just in between licks of my own.
And then, and then kind of points over their shoulder because they're trying to find the invisible pixie as well. It points over their shoulder.
Okay. An L.
Yeah, in that enclosure.
I'll turn around and have a look.
Okay.
Go free the Albier. You know you want to.
I'll write it out.
So it's like a glass partition, like separator between you and this enclosure, which is the same as the rest of them in this room, because usually they're just bars.
Oh, this is glass.
This is glass in here, yeah.
Sounds dangerous.
Go ahead and roll perception.
With your cake modifier.
What is perception? That's not like investigation or...
No.
Okay. 7.
I think as you're kind of looking at it, there's like some trees and things around. There's not very many very clear like lines of sight inside of the thing.
There's
and
probably
you're,
not even an L-bear.
are you like, what are you doing? You press right up against the glass at this point, or?
Not that game, but I am gonna get a bit closer and go hoot. Hoot. A guttural hoot. I don't want to take up all the rest of the time. I want to on this. I just want to
important.
This is great view.
This is important. So I think
I want to hear more about the toffee apple.
we go back to the spider. So I'll do this last thing. So I think as you're like letting out these guttural sort of hoots, hoot, or however you want to do it.
That's exactly how I want to do it.
You're getting like closer, like stepping, hoot, stepping, hoot, stepping, and like to a distance where you're comfortable. And then as like you are ready to give up on everything, you hear a bang, as this like ferocious slamming itself against the window.
I'm gonna leap 6 feet in the air. Oh!
Oh, you have to
go
free
shoot
the
straight
Albier.
up.
With its enormous beak, you see this hulking brute, just like, especially compared to you, just enormous body, just muscular, and kind of this feathery sort of fur kind of coming back off of it, and its head is very owl-like, and its mouth, rather than being like a maw, is this just razor sharp beak with these beady dark black eyes that reveal just absolutely no soul. And it has
Gotta have that.
kind of radiating back from its markings as it continues to furiously smash at the glass.
Seems upset.
Before calming down and just kind of like lumbering and hulking away from you. And you see it find its resting spot where it obviously was before, but was completely camouflaged while it was motionless.
Terrifying.
Okay. Yeah.
You had to piss it off. You couldn't have just freed it. Seriously. That was the whole plan, right?
Okay, we're gonna go and actually like figure out a way to end the session. So Finn and Past, what do you do?
I'm opening the door. When as soon as I find that key to
Okay.
unlock it, I'm like desperate to find Colin.
So I think as soon as you fling the door open,
Yeah.
the first thing that you see are two guards kind of facing with their backs towards you, and they are surprised that you have flung the door open.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
So Alce is like literally just going to grab both his swords. Where's Colin? Swords at their throat. So as they turn around, they're turning basically into the blades, so that the blades are there across out at their necks. And he's saying, "Where's Colin the Kobold?"
Were the guards kissing?
No, they weren't kissing. Okay, roll intimidation with advantage.
All right. It's a 12. Yeah. Thanks.
Lucky you.
If I had failed that, I probably would have sliced their heads off.
Wait, did you have advantage on that?
They bring their pikes down, pointed at you.
All right, we're gonna
in kind of one fluid motion. And then they kind of motion they crane their necks over and point over there, but with their pikes still trained on you. And what you see, I don't have a token for the zookeeper, but you see, looking in, you see a zookeeper sat cross-legged on the floor with Colin, who is holding an enormous ice cream.
Oh, for
Up to his face. And he's just...
Oh, John, I hate you right now.
And the zookeeper is there like, now, Colin, you know we love you, right?
Oh, lovely.
Oh, that's bullshit.
We only want the best for you.
Oh.
And I think there's where we will end
Counselling.
That was a great.
Colin's camp counseling. I think that is where we'll end the session.
Oh.
Thank you so much to our viewers.
Oh my god.
Thanks for bearing
Thank
with
you
us,
to our
guys.
players for playing.
Oh man.
Next time, maybe we'll find out what demons haunt Colin. Maybe we'll find out if you start with a K or a C.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we'll find out who has the best ice cream in town. And you will have to tune in next time to find out the answers to those questions and more.
Cool. And you can find out when we go live by following us. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow John on Twitter. You can follow Dave on Instagram. We've got a Discord that you can jump into and chat to us about what's going on. And while we are officially finishing the stream for the night, we're just going to chat a little bit about what went on. So thanks for watching. And we'll be back the same time next Monday as well.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Oh,
Thanks.
man. Reese, you were almost dying at one point.
I seriously hate you right now.
Oh, I had to mute myself. I couldn't actually see. Like, I was crying so hard that I dislodged my contacts. And I was just like, oh. So good.
Yeah, that was
so good. Oh, damn.
So what are we going to do with this Albi? I noticed there's like a doorway into the back of the pen as well, but I mean, the characters don't know that yet, I guess.
Yeah, they're fixated on this Colin situation.
So, I mean, clearly Alce is going to be stoked that Colin is alive. He's going to be furious that they're fucking feeding him ice cream, and he clearly looks like he's doing a hell of a lot better than what he was when we first met.
So you're really going to have to try and convince us that you're wanting to actually free him now and not just steal him.
Well, no, He wasn't getting ice cream when I met him, and he was clearly not happy when I met him.
It was
And,
the middle of the night. They don't feed them ice cream when they should be sleeping.
His massage had finished for the day.
Alce is being currently confronted by the person he was going to free, who told him that it was pretty horrible and he hated being captured, and now he turns up and he's being fed ice cream. So it's like this battle of like, what the fuck? This is not what you told me last night.
But he's also not that intelligent.
He's got like a mental age.
Sure, whether he's intelligent or not, I think the communication was pretty clear that he wasn't happy.
Yeah, he might have just had a bad day.
He might have had a nightmare.
Yeah, exactly.
Alce is like, given Alce's current state of mind, he's liable to just go absolutely berserk and kill these guards and get the truth out of him.
Oh, what?
Give me the truth.
He's completely panicked by the fact that Colin was being hurt. Charged in, barged in, seeing the two guards with their pikes. It's like, this doesn't make sense. I'm not even sure he's probably going to have actually seen Colin with ice cream and the caretaker there. He's basically
Big ice cream.
It's a big ice
It's
cream.
enormous.
He's got two guards with their pikes
It's
pointed
huge.
at him.
It's
That's
a
really the
two-hander.
first. It's a two-hander.
It's a two.
Double scoop.
He's holding it like that.
Yeah, I think
Need a 10 string.
Alce will basically recognise that Colin is a light, but his primary focus is going to be on these guards that are pointing their pikes at him.
Finn gets a flashback to Greg. Oh, wait, sorry. Just the two-hander. Never mind.
Oh dear.
Oh, man.
Cool.
Slap the ice cream out of Colin's
You
hands.
just had to make it difficult for me, didn't you, John? You couldn't make them be torturing him for them to believe my story.
To be honest,
So good, man.
no one's made it more difficult than Alst right now.
This is true.
Places like a cult and they're love bombing him. You're part of the zoo.
Yeah. All right, well, that's me.
So
I'm
good.
gonna
Yeah,
get
see,
off.
Xcat says that kobolds aren't that stupid. Their intelligence is 8. That's not
still-
stupid. That's
What have we got?
sentient.
That's the DMG kobold.
The what
Oh,
code?
yeah.
Is that a
The
specific?
DMG. Sorry, the DMG is the Dungeon Master's guy.
Whoa. Right.
Huge con.
Yeah.
Man, how about that arm? Oh,
Oh, that was a good one.
Seriously,
so
screwed,
good,
man.
so good.
I can't believe you crit on that. That
Yeah.
was
So
so
good,
Yeah.
right? Damn. Oh, and Bernard, those toffee apples, man.
Yeah, I got to get mine off the ceiling.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
left, right. Doing.
Awesome.
I wish we could have spent more time on the toffee apples.
I do. That was
We,
where
we
my
haven't
interest
finished yet.
Yeah,
Honest.
he's still got one in his bag to pull out, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We know those full like toffee apple extra rule books and stuff. The coast.
Xantar's guide to everything toffee.
Yeah, no, I'm writing some homebrew for toffee apples. It's gonna be like, custom.
Yeah.
Well, the Americans call them candy apples. Is that right? I think.
We may have
Candy
confused some
apples.
Americans in our stream.
Yeah.
Talking of kiwis and toffee apples.
Yeah. That's the only thing that confused them. Everything else
Yeah,
was
everything
straight
else
up
is
D&D.
perfectly kosher.
Yeah, our accents was like fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everything
the fact that
else.
we were D&Ding a zoo
Yeah.
wasn't confusing at all.
On a day, yeah.
On a date at the
Yeah.
zoo,
Yeah.
you know, that's not confusing whatsoever.
Oh,
Walking
man.
around with swords and shields and full plate armor
Yeah.
on a date at the zoo eating toffee apples.
How much
just-
how much of the time did we waste at the zoo, as in like in-game time?
I reckon that was probably just over an hour and a.
Okay.
Oh,
Like,
We're gonna miss that boat.
no, because that's like 8 hours away. That's like
No,
half
the
a
boat.
day away.
No, the boat is half a day away, so it's about 4 hours.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
So good.
Plenty of time to get some little snacks.
Yeah.
We got roasted nuts.
Yeah. Finn's gonna leave with a toffee apple, I'm sure.
I can just
And the
imagine-
kobold at this rate.
Yeah.
No, the kobold's fine. Oh,
the
The
kobold-
kobold
kobold.
is nice. The apple would be.
Our plan was to free the kobold and the owlbear.
but they
it's
don't
gonna-
need
it's-
freeing.
it's-
Well, what?
Ice cream is not kobold food, man. Come on, you cannot feed a kobold ice cream.
We're gonna have to look this up.
Is it-
Here.
What do you know
It's
about
like
it?
lactose intolerant or something. Come on. It's gonna be bloated for like days.
You don't
No.
like Ours does not know anything about what
I
kobold
agree.
should be
I agree.
based on your roles.
Alst only knows that the kobold wasn't happy about being here.
That's
I can't
true.
help.
He does know
That's
that.
all I know, and that's what Alst is relying on.
I can't help but picture Finn in his studded leather armor, like sprinting around, tackling people, getting them off. Oh, it's so great. It's like the perfect date, right?
Oh, that was amazing.
Oh dear lord.
Well, I think, yeah. How would a lizard react to ice cream? That's what XCat's saying.
Yeah.
I think a lizard would like it. Ice cream. It's cold,
Yeah. Yeah.
sweet. It's got that sugary to it.
Yeah, the cold bloodedness might be an issue, but these
Maybe-
kobolds are like half dog, half lizard, so
True.
you don't necessarily know if they're warm blooded or cold blooded.
True.
Medium blooded.
Yeah.
All right, dudes, I better bounce.
Yep.
Alright.
All right. Thanks again to everyone for
Ciao.
watching.
Get
Give us a
your
follow if you haven't already. We'll be back next Monday, or that's our
Yay.
time. I don't know what time it is for you. Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.